overcome. That one was 21. Here's Benny going to the end zone. Can he make the catch? Yes!
And had confidence that Carpenter could make the adjustment on this beautifully thrown pass.
Throws one up the seam. It's caught. Elijah Moore in the open. Left sideline to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, 10, 5. Pylon. Touchdown. Elijah Moore streaks down the left side of the field.
O'Brien looking right and left. A pass into the left corner. Touchdown. 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 Al Toon has a touchdown.
They give it to Curtis, my favorite Martin. Touchdown. J-E-T-S-S-S-S.
From the 24, O'Donnell from the shotgun, Deshaun Johnson, throw the damn ball! The corner, touchdown, tie game at 24 apiece.
Revis comes up with his first breakup. Well, here's the matchup. You see Johnson gives him the stick to the outside, then gets inside, and that's perfect position. The big guy inside the shorter one, but Revis getting in. That's why he's the best.
We'll open up the Jet Lounge, 8:30 p.m. Monday night Take Flight show with Petey Italy and T Faded. We want to welcome returning guest and former Jet player and good buddy of mine, Rob Carpenter. Rob, what's up?
What's going on, Pete?
All right, so and Tanad, what's up? You know, more people should be coming in, but you know, Rob, first of all, appreciate you always. The hospitality with you, it's always a pleasure, and you know your insight is awesome, so just wanted to say that. Now real quick, Rob, you know I want to recap the game a little bit first yesterday. For me, you know, before we get into questions, and guys, you know, when we're asking Rob a question tonight, it's no offense to anybody, you know, please, no takes, just ask the question. We'll get into your takes later. Want to get people, you know, in and out so Rob can give his insight. And again, this is no offense to anybody in here, but we just want to keep it moving with questions. And again, if you have a take, we'll have plenty of time after Rob, you know, leaves later. So we appreciate your cooperation. So Rob, what I saw, first of all, I don't want to get into it too much, but on offense, I mean, I know the Jets, you know, they moved the ball a little bit, but Tyler Conklin yesterday, you know, that guy's going to be really big for us, I think. And I just like that, you know, he's like just the safety spot. Guys catches everything. I mean, I know you were at camp, you saw him. He gets those, you know, tough 6-7 yard. He had that nice real 13-yard slant yesterday that Flacco fired in. So I liked what I saw from him. And, you know, I don't know if people realize, but man, Bryce Huff yesterday was all over the field. So those are the two people, besides obviously the first team defensive line, you know, in the first series stood out to me. But those two players yesterday really stood out for me. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I've been saying from day one, the moment they signed Tyler Conklin, that he's probably going to be tight end one. You know, he was used a bit in Minnesota, but you could see his, you know, from watching in Minnesota, and everyone knows that the Jets tight end room needed an upgrade. So between him and Uzama, you know, who's steady and can get down the field as well, then drafting Ruckert, you know, there was going to be a huge upgrade for that room itself. But Tyler Conklin is actually the key to a lot of big plays happening downfield, because he can get down the middle of the field pretty fast, and he can make some big plays out there in the middle of the field. And we all know that Zach is going to be looking for him. You know, a good tight end is always a young quarterback's best friend, besides a running game. So, you know, you're spot on pretty much, Pete. And everyone knows that Tyler Conklin is going to be a target for whatever quarterback is actually playing. Whether it's Flacco, whether it's Zach, or whoever else might be in there, he's going to be a target regardless.
And as far as, you know, Bryce Huff, I mean, I'm not going to, you know, I hear people saying, oh, they're tired of, you know, the Bryce Huffs. They want to start. But this guy legit puts pressure on quarterbacks, man. I know last year, Rob, I know you saw it, and before he got hurt, I mean, he was getting to the quarterback. So, I mean, this
he was
guy
one of the
is
top pressure
he's
guys in the league.
no doubt, and
When
I
he
just loved
was
his motor.
before he got hurt, like you said, Pete, he was one of the top pressure guys in the league. And his motor is kind of nonstop. He's just a smaller version of Michael Clemens now. So the D line itself, for the first 2 series or whatever it was, got great pressure. Now, they weren't going against the Giants' first team offensive line, but regardless of that, having those guys actually getting pressure on the quarterback like they should have been getting pressure on the quarterback is actually, shows a good sign. They were going against backups and they pretty much beat the backups up. So, you take it from that, but those guys were actually ready to finally get playing together as a unit. Carl Lawson was in there, immediately putting pressure on the quarterback. So, he was ready to go. But now there's 2 more weeks before these guys can actually, have that chance to get out there and go for real. So they're pretty much going to be wired up to go from the moment they step on the field on September 11th.
Yeah, and Rob, to go off that point though, I know people, I don't mind it, but I know people don't like the rotation with the defensive line. But Rob, the way they looked yesterday, and if you keep rotating like Jacob Martin, Bryce Huff, Michael Clemens, Jermaine Johnson, Carl Lawson, I mean, I think it could be relentless, this pass rush. I really do, man. So I don't mind that now, honestly. Like, I know fans don't like that, but it's going to keep people fresh. I kind of like that idea now,
I don't know what fans don't like that, but if the ones who don't like that, they can be kind of silly thinking that that's not a good thing. To have guys fresh in the fourth quarter is the goal. I mean, if you have multiple units of guys on the defensive line that can put pressure on the quarterback and actually stop the run at the same time throughout the game, that's the goal, to actually keep guys fresh at the in the fourth quarter when you might need some pressure to actually end the game. So anybody thinking that that's not a good thing is kind of silly.
Right. And Rob, before Tanad jumps in, the 2 guys too that stood out for me in the preseason on like the defense that I kind of hope make the team. I don't know, Bradley Ami, whatever his name is, and I like the way Tenzel Smart was just pushing offensive linemen back yesterday. I don't know if you saw any of that, but man, that guy, he was pushing people like 3-4 yards in the backfield. Man, that was impressive to watch.
The numbers on the D line and the defensive back numbers is the question mark for the team. Who's staying, who's going. So it's going to be kind of interesting as the day goes on tomorrow when the major cuts come out to see who actually made it through, because there's a lot of numbers on the defensive line, and I know that the offensive line is actually going to take up a chunk of the roster. So it's going to be pretty interesting tomorrow to the guys that actually do keep, because there are a lot of guys that actually made pushes this training camp and made plays this training camp. So if they're not here, it's on film. So if they're not here, there's going to be a lot of guys that actually get claimed off the Jets cuts, which is kind of unheard of in the past few years. But it's a good thing for them. Then shows what's actually going on, in the world of Joe Douglas and Saleh and the rest of the front office.
Go ahead, Tanad.
Rob, so 2 things. I'm gonna touch up on what you just spoke about. It's very rare that we see, guys get released from this team and get claimed by, other teams in the league. So one of the things that I like, from day one that they've been talking about doing is just having guys, just work hard every day, just keep going, right? What that does is, when other teams are watching tapes, it helps you so much as a player because they see that you're putting all the energy out there. So everything is on tape for other teams to be able to see, to be like, okay, you know what? If this guy's able to play in this scheme, it's the same scheme that we ran, they're able to understand their assignments and also, play just much harder. But the 2 things I want to touch on was what, Pete originally was talking about as far as defensively. For me, I don't have an issue, or I don't think the pass rushing is going to be, a problem throughout the year at all. I think we have so many guys that are able to get to the quarterback. The focus, just like it should have been last year, is going to be the running game as far as being able to stop the rushing. A lot of these guys, when I look at Tenzel Smart, he's someone that has shown so much to me in camp that, I'm willing to be able to keep him. You look at a guy like Marshall, that the D-line itself is just so versatile. Some of these guys are able to play outside, inside, like a guy like Marshall, but the rotation thing is a great thing to do because, like you stated, guys are going to be fresh in the fourth quarter. And the thing that I feel like fans have an issue with when it comes to that is them not understanding that late in the fourth, your star players, your guys that that should be in the game are going to be in the game. When it comes to Carl Lawson, Jermaine Johnson as an option, Quinnen Williams, JFM, those guys are going to be in the game. And, in those situations when it comes to, the last 5 minutes or 2 minutes and things like that. So I don't see that as an issue at all, and it actually keeps guys really fresh and just keep them, to be able to play with more energy and more intensity. Those are all great things. Now, my major issue with the defense, other than the running game, is what are they going to do with that safety position opposite of Jordan Whitehead? What do you see them doing with that? Do you think they're going to have a couple guys that they rotate in and out? Or do you see Joyner as the guy that's going to play 80-90% of the snaps the way that it's looking currently?
Where it's looking currently, it's probably going to be Joyner back there. But this is one of the things, with other teams' cuts. So there could be a guy out there that could get cut. And I'm just using this as an example. This is not something that I've heard. This is not something that I'm thinking could possibly be going on. But you just saw Tony Jefferson get cut from the Ravens. I know they're actually a pretty good safety. So, something like that could happen if they feel like Joyner is not the guy, totally for them. But, as it looks right now, if nothing changes, he's probably going to be the guy back there until, further notice, if he's just kind of stinking it up. And I know, last week, a lot of plays that actually happened when they were playing against the Falcons, people, contributed to him being the fall guy. It wasn't the case. When you actually put it up on film and actually see what was going on out there, he's playing where he's supposed to be playing. There's other guys that are actually getting beat, but when you're watching it on TV, of course, the broadcasters and analysts are going to see the first person or the last person in the screen and contribute to the person that actually was getting beat. So, but when coaches put on the film, they know that certain guys are actually in the right place that they're supposed to be, and fans and other analysts and so forth, they don't really see that much. So, but again, that's a spot that could change, with cut.
So since we're on that safety subject, Tart just got released by the Eagles. Do you see him as a possible option based on what you've seen from him over the last 7-8 years that he's been in the league? Do you think that he may be an option, especially since Coach Saleh, was with him in San Francisco? What do you think about that option? Since you brought up Tony Jefferson, do you think he may be an option as well?
I said that's a possibility. Because like you just said, Tart was with Saleh, and he knows the defense. But there could be other guys out there the same way. So that's one of the positions I'm actually taking a wait and see on. As far as if there's going to be a change coming to that position from outside the building. But if it's not, it's just going to be Joyner.
Absolutely. Hey, PD, do you have any last words before we go around the room?
Well, I want to save some questions for Rob. But Rob, who? Just give me two names, not cuts or who makes the team, but who on offense has surprised you the most in training camp and on defense?
For me, Pete?
Yeah, Rob.
On offense, I actually looked at the young guys, man. So checking these guys out during camp. you know, and it's kind of bad already that he already got released. But Jackson, man, the kid can play. You know, I saw it right from day one in camp, and you know, the couple of times I was out there, he's all over the place making plays. And you know, he's one of those guys that he's not super flashy with it, but he just makes plays. And, you know, he's always in the right place. You know, sometimes for rookies, it takes them a little while to actually pick up on, you know, an offense, and pick up on everything of where they're supposed to be, certain reads and certain things. But you know, you also saw that he could actually return punts. So I'm not gonna be surprised if he actually gets claimed off waivers, man, because you know, that's a valuable asset to have, somebody that can actually go back there, because not everybody can do it. Not everybody can go back there and return punts. That's something that teams actually covet. So, you know, if he can go back there and do that and do it well as be a good, you know, good decent receiver, man. It's on film. People see it. You know, I kind of talked about it when people posted someone posted the touchdowns that Strebler threw to him. You know, calling it the same play. It was, but he did it two different ways, which shows he knows what's actually going on in front of him. You know, he had off coverage against the Giants. He actually hesitated a second on his release and then took off wide open. He actually had to take an inside release on, you know, when they playing against Philadelphia. He had to take an inside release and then beat the guy to the corner, which he did. So that just shows he knows what's going on in front of him, and he can react to actually everything that's going on in front of him. He's not thinking. He's just going out and playing because he knows what's going on. He knows the plays. So that was actually something that was good to see from him. Now, when it comes to the other side on defense, Will Parks stood out. That dude was all over the place, making plays here, there, everywhere. Big hits, you know, pass breakups, tackles, you know, assured tackles. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see what goes on with him. But those two guys actually stood out to me, you know, quite a bit. B.
All right, and let's get to Terrence. Go ahead, Terrence.
Yeah, thanks, PD and Tenard.
What's going on, Terrence?
How's everything going, Rob?
So good.
Hey, good. Hey, you just mentioned Calvin Jackson, and I guess to keep it brief, you know, obviously, do you think that Douglas is playing hardball, basically saying to Mims and his agent, look, if I don't get a good offer for you, you know, you're staying on this team? Because I don't know who the sixth wide receiver would be, or if the Jets intend to just go with five, you know, wide receivers and trade Mims. But what's your feeling on that right now? And I agree with you. I'm hoping Calvin, you know, Jackson makes it through waivers and basically is on the practice squad. But just I don't know. I guess I was hoping for there to be a trade by now, but it looks like one of the suitors, Carolina, actually traded for LaVisca Chenault just I think just now or in the last couple of hours. So you know, so I just don't know if there's going to be any takers. But what do you do if there are no takers, or Douglas doesn't like the offers he's getting? Do you really want an unhappy Mims still being on this team?
Well, I don't think Mims is unhappy as far as going to be out there pouting or doing anything like that. I mean, he showed that playing in the game yesterday. So he just went out and played. You know, the rest of that stuff, he's leaving up to his agent. And do I think Douglas is playing hardball? No, I don't. He knows, and Saleh knows the talent that Mims has. He just has to get caught up with everybody else. You know, so is it going to be hard for him to be on the field on a regular basis? Absolutely, because he's not getting in front of Elijah Moore. He's not going to be in front of Garrett. He's not going to be in front of Corey Davis. Barry is going to be out there in third downs and in other situations a lot. He's going to have special situations where he's in the game. So will he get 15, 20 plays in a game? I doubt it. Maybe 5 to 10. That's why they actually tried to put him out there in special teams as a gunner, so he could actually stay involved in the game. That's one way to keep somebody involved in the game. You just stand on the sidelines and then all of a sudden, you know, you're out there for 4 or 5 plays. You can disengage from the game itself. But you know, honestly, I don't think, it's just my personal opinion, I don't think Carolina was actually in on a trade. You know, I just think that was somebody just actually kind of thinking that you know, his former coach Matt Rule was out there and looking for a player, because if Matt Rule thought Denzel Mims was actually really going to be available and they need a receiver and he knows what he could do, he would have been out there trying to get him. And for them to actually, you know, the following day after these reports come out, they trade for Laviska Shenault. You know, just lets me know even further that, you know, he really wasn't in on Denzel Mims. And Saleh even said they're probably going with 6 wide receivers, and Denzel Mims is going to be part of that 6. You know, he said he's part of the top 6 guys that are here. So, part of I also believe part of them releasing Jackson first in this early is to try to get him through waivers as fast as they can, so they could actually put him on the practice squad. Teams haven't made all those cuts yet, so if they can slide him through before teams actually make those cuts, then, you know, they can bring him back, you know, as fast as they can and get him back here and keep him on the team. Because I do believe that they actually want him here instead of somebody claiming him. But I just don't think he's going. I just don't think he's going to make it through. I think he's going to be claimed because he's just that good. But I do believe Mims is going to be here. And will he be unhappy? No, I think he'll just go out and play when he gets the opportunity to play. Now, after the season, if it stays the way it is, do I think it's going to change? Yes, I think he won't be here after the season. If it doesn't change much.
One last, if I may, one follow-up. The performance he had yesterday, that to me seemed like another Denzel Mims that maybe I didn't see last year, maybe a little bit in his rookie year. Did you feel like his intensity was up a notch compared to where it was last year? Because, like, I was just wondering, it seemed like he was motivated for the first time in a while with that performance yesterday.
Well, when you're getting the ball and you're making plays, you know, you go out and you're actually engaged in the game. So, yeah, from that aspect, yeah, he was motivated. He knew the ball was actually probably going to be coming to him on many of those plays. You know it when the play comes into the huddle if you're part of it or not. So when you're going out the lineup, you're basically saying, all right, the ball's coming to me, so I need to make this play. And if you have a rapport with the quarterbacks that you're actually working with, they know they're coming to you. So, you know, Mike White has a rapport with Denzel Mims, and that's pretty much who was feeding him the ball. But Streveler actually was taking a couple of shots with him as well. So, and the fact that he was in the game so late in the game just lets you know that he probably was given those opportunities to, to show, listen, I can make these plays, so I should be here. Even though it was said that, you know, through all offseason and through all training camp, that they believe in his talent. So, you know, when you're in the last preseason game, one of the last guys out there, this team is so young with talent at wide receiver. You know, even going forward, you know, after this season, it's still going to be hard for him to get on the field because he's not going to jump ahead of Garrett Wilson. He's not going to jump ahead of Elijah Moore. He's not going to jump ahead of Berrios. You know, in regular field play. Again, there might be specialty situations where he's out there. He's a big body. You can get him the ball down in the red zone. And I know most of the fans are always talking about those 50-50 balls, which don't take place as much as they think. And it's not really, you know, that part of the game. But you know, you give him a chance, it's possible that he can go make some plays in the red zone as being a big body wide receiver.
Rob, I'm glad you put it the way that you put it, because a lot of people are just ready to give up on Mims, not understanding that the kid was a second round talent for a reason. The coaching staff sees more than we do as fans because they're in the classroom, they're in the room with him, they're on the field with him. So to me, it's just more of like the man wants to play. Why would a player who's a receiver drafted that early in the draft not want to play? Nobody wants to be riding on a depth chart, and I understand where he's coming from. So you putting it that way itself is just like, okay, you know what? Now hopefully a lot of the fans that are on here listening are a little bit more understanding when it comes to, okay, you know what? If the guy is playing with third and fourth stringers, it doesn't really help him. Now, the thing that I think that helps him in that case is him understanding his assignment, where he has to line up and understanding, his routes and everything like that. But as far as him wanting to play, I don't have an issue with that at all. I would want the same thing. Whether you're a quarterback, running back, tight end, O lineman, D lineman, you want to play. And he's at that point where he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going into year 3. If I don't show that I can do something this year, I'm going to get picked up by a team. And, he wants an extension, next year or the year after. So I don't blame him at all for wanting to play.
There's only one person.
I just think that friends are just frustrated with, the way that things have been happening and the fact that, Garrett Wilson was drafted this year. We had Elijah from last year and Corey Davis. Unless he's better than those guys, it's going to be tough for him to be able to see the field. Go ahead.
There's only one person on the field that doesn't want to play. That's the backup quarterback. That's it. Everybody else that's out there on that field wants to play at all times. But sticking with Mims, the one thing that held him back was learning the playbook. That's been noted. He didn't know every position like every other player that was on the team. So people are always complaining about Jeff Smith. Smith knows what he's doing. I mean, that's part of playing the game. If you know what you're doing, you're going to be on the field. You're going to have a chance to play. So with him not knowing the playbook in full, that held him back. So he had the opportunity this year coming in where this is going to be his second year in this system. He should know more. And it's looking like he knows a lot more. Now he's out there. He plays comfortable now. He's not thinking about everything that's going on in front of him. And it's what holds a lot of young guys back from playing. If you don't know your assignments, like you said, part of knowing your assignment is knowing where to line up. A lot of rookies don't know that in certain offenses, where to line up is crucial because you don't want to give a play away. So, I've seen that time and time again. A lot of rookies don't get on the field because they just don't know everything that they should, and coaches just don't feel comfortable with them. And practice is part of that. Classroom learning is part of that. If you're sitting in the meeting room with your position coach and he asks you a question about a certain play, you don't answer it right, he's not going to feel comfortable putting you on the field. If you going into practice and you got to think about where to line up and you hesitate coming out of the huddle, you turn around looking for some direction from somebody else or one of the other players out on the field telling you, you got to be over there. That's not looking good for you. So that was his problem. That was his problem all last year. That's why he didn't get on the field as much. And it showed when he was out there. He was frustrated. He didn't know where to go. He's thinking about too much. But, his talent is there. He can run. He can jump. He can catch. He's a big body. He can get off the ball. So the talent is there. He just needed to put it all together. And I think it's actually coming to him now. But actually, I think it's just a little too late because the Jets actually were saying if he can't get it together, we got to make some moves. Garrett Wilson drafted in the first round. Elijah Moore drafted in the second round last year. They kept Berrios. They signed Corey Davis. Those moves were there because Denzel Mims couldn't pick up what was going on. So, and from now on, it's basically up to him. But if he actually gets away from here, he might need a fresh start. I said that a few weeks ago. I think he does need a fresh start.
Yep, agreed. I definitely agree with that.
So he can go and have a fresh learning of another team, some fresh input from another coach, another position coach, another head coach, another offensive coordinator, and maybe he can make some moves that way. But he's not going to be one of the top guys on the field this season unless guys start dropping like flies and a lot of injuries happen.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna point out. Injuries are one reason why he would be on the field. But I do want to see it work out. But like you said, it might be a little bit too late. Petty, let's go to Petty. What's going on? We're gonna go to Petty and then Rusty. What's going on, Petty?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Wonderful.
Awesome. So one thing I'm noticing is that they're keeping a lot of the vets, which I understand, in the sense of helping the team. But do you think that do you think it makes sense to keep someone like a Justin Hardy over a Javelin Guidry, who's brings you value not only on special teams but as well as a backup slot corner, or a Bradley and I, who has a little bit more upside than maybe a Vinny Curry? I'm just curious about that.
If you're going to have a team that's going to be competing, like this team wants to compete and said that they believe they can compete in, for a playoff spot, having those guys like Hardy on the team is valuable. He's a special teams captain for a reason. He's proved himself in this league, as that for years. People tend to forget that special teams is really a big part of a team. Are they out there for 60, 70 plays? No. Like offensive defense? No. But it's a crucial part of the team. And a lot of guys like Hardy play multiple positions on special teams, which you need. A team is not scoring on every drive, so punts happen. A team is not the other offenses aren't scoring on our defense on every drive, so punt returns actually happen. Kickoffs happen. Kickoff returns happen as part of the game. So guys like that are crucial to a team. If you were to lose guys like that, it would show. It would show in a team, in a big way, because not everybody can be a cog like certain guys like that. In years when I was playing, everybody always harped on Steve from the Buffalo Bills. This guy was a special teams guru. Nobody could block him. He returned kicks. He was just that guy that was all over the field everywhere. He's a multi-time Pro Bowler, and he made a living being a special teams guy like that. And everyone would always question, this guy's little. He's 5'9". How can nobody block him? He was just tough. He was that guy that made every play on special teams for the Buffalo Bills for years, and no one could get a hold of this guy. So Hardy's a guy like that, and you don't want to lose guys like that on your team as a vet presence, because he's a guy that is a leader on the team. You need guys like that when you're actually going to have, or you're trying to put together a team that can make a playoff run for a few years.
Hey, Carp, remember Slater from the Patriots?
Another one.
How long was Slater with that team
Another
for?
one. Same
He was a guy who's able to, he would get down and make a tackle, return kicks, and do all of that.
Be a receiver.
You could lose games because of special team. You could, imagine a team returning a kickoff or a punt every time, and they're starting at their own 40, 45 instead of, their own 20, 25 or 30 or something like that. There's a big gap in between a good special team and, a bad special team, and we've seen bad special team here in New York to where we're giving up great field position to the opposing team because guys are not able to secure that tackle. They may make contact with that person that's returning the ball, but they can't secure it. So, I think us keeping a guy like Hardy is like you stated, it's just a veteran presence, a guy that understands his assignment. And I've noticed throughout camp, he'll be playing in the slot at times. So there may be times throughout the season to where, they may use him at times. I don't know how much they're going to use him, but you never know based on what I saw in camp and also during games as well, a couple of times during the preseason.
He knows his assignments. They know they have a guy who is not going to slack on learning everything that he needs to know. They know who's going to study film on the opponent. So he's just that veteran guy that they can count on if they need him in a heartbeat of a moment. Somebody goes down, they need somebody to be on the field. He can be there.
Yeah, and Rob, real quick on Hardy, even like when we see the Jet videos, of him, he breaks down the team sometimes, like you could just tell he's one of those guys. That's why too, even I think you would agree with me. I think Tevin Coleman's going to make the team too, because he can return kicks. He's a veteran leader. and those young running backs need him in that locker room. Do you think Coleman's going to make it?
The first 4 guys that you saw in the game yesterday, Pete, are probably going to be the first 4 guys I think. So you saw Michael Carter, Hall, you saw Tevin Coleman, and you saw Ty Johnson. Those are the first 4 running backs in the game.
So that goes to my next question.
Yeah,
so,
I was just about to say.
So we'll get into this after another hand. So Zonovan Knight's not going to make it in your eyes?
He's probably going to be on the practice squad. So
Okay.
That's not saying that he might not be on the field during the season, but Zonovan Knight returns kicks. So if one of those guys goes down, it can be pulled up real quick. But for me, thinking Zonovan Knight is actually going to be on the field and make the 53-man roster right away, I don't think so. Those first 4 guys that you saw yesterday on the field first, those are probably going to be the first 4 guys that they actually keep. So is Tevin Coleman in that bunch? Of course, he was the 3rd guy on the field.
Correct.
And he returns kicks. So that's a plus for him. He knows this offense. He's like you said, Pete. He's a veteran presence for the young running backs that are there. Not saying that room itself, the running back room, needs that, because I think Michael Carter's been here for a year. Ty Johnson's been around this team for a few years. Not saying that Coleman needs to be there for that. I just think that Tevin Coleman is that guy that they know what they can get from him if he's healthy. That's been his whole problem, his whole career. He just can't stay healthy because he's still a good running back, and he can make plays. He returns kicks well, and you get him in space, and he's still got speed. So that's part of what this regime is actually looking for out of the skill positions. It's speed out there, man, and they're looking for it, and they have it in the receivers and the running backs and now a tight end. So the tight end group is another group, because is it Wesco? Is it Cager? Don't know. But for me, it would be Cager, because if they're going to keep four tight ends, because he's a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. He showed that he's a receiver transformed into a tight end. There's no linebackers that are going to be covering him. They would need safeties to cover him. So that takes coverages away, certain coverages away from other teams that they would normally be able to play, where they have to put a safety on him or even a nickelback. So, it's just matchups out there that he could create for the Jets along with Conklin. So if you put him and Conklin on the field at the same time, that's something that could be fun to watch.
Cart. So since we're on that subject, right? For me, I don't think Wesco should make the team. I'm gonna explain why. Because we have 3 tight ends that can do what he does. Whether you want to, line them up as tight ends or put him in the backfield as a fullback, I think a guy like Ruckert, I think, can be used in that situation throughout the year. Uzama, same thing. Conklin, you could put him, bring him out the backfield to be able, if it's a 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, or 3rd and short, any type of situation like that. I don't think Wesco has the value. He hasn't shown me anything to be like, okay, you know what? He's a really good blocker, and he's able to catch the ball out of the backfield. When I look at Cager explosive. Once he catches the ball, he is gone. You're not even, you don't even think of him as a tight end. You see the big body and the number 81, and he just going. The catch that he had yesterday, I think it was Mike White that threw him the ball. Was it Flacco? Like, he caught the ball and he was just, he was
down
out.
Down the seam, it was Mike White.
Mike White, so those are the things that, like, I'm looking for in someone. Okay, yeah, Cager might be on a bubble, but so is Wesco. But to me, Cager brings more value because of him understanding the wide receiver position and him learning the tight end position. And I think he could be more valuable than Wesco in that case.
And that's my whole thing about it. Cager is a matchup nightmare for those guys.
Hey, Rob, you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here. I thought you guys lost me for a second.
Nah, so did I. I thought my bad.
Yeah, but Cage is a matchup nightmare for opposing teams if he's used in the correct way. So now you hit it on the head. I don't think Wesco has the athletic ability to keep up with those guys. He's not a fast guy. He can block, but the other guys can do the exact same thing. So, it's going to be, for me, I think it'll be hard for them to actually keep Wesco, this go around.
Now, Rob, I wasn't high on him after the Cincinnati game, but to me yesterday, I saw a different Mike White, man. He was gunning the ball, especially to Mims. I mean, he had some really nice throws yesterday, even to Jeff Smith. So, I mean, that's obviously why I don't know why Jeff fans are in a panic that a fourth string quarterback got cut today. That's beyond my, you know what I mean, man? Like I just can't fathom that. But I mean, I liked what I saw out of Mike White yesterday. I really did.
Honestly, Pete, the way Streveler played, every game, I thought that gave him a chance to actually jump ahead of Mike White for the 53-man roster. Now, that being said, it's not a huge, thing for me that they kept Mike White. He's been here. He's been in this offense for a couple of years now. He has a rapport with all the receivers that are out there. And he has a victory under his belt against Cincinnati last year. So, if he didn't get hurt against the Colts, never know what could happen, in that game as well, because he started out pretty good. But, the other games that he played after that, he didn't play so well. But, everybody knows that it's Zach and it's Flacco. Mike White is going to be that guy that will fill in if those two guys can't play. But he's also a presence in the locker room. I like him in that could make a difference as well. Do I think Streveler is going to waver and possibly be that practice squad quarterback? I do. I think they're going to keep him here or try to keep him around. Because like Salah said, like I said, I don't think there's anybody that has actually had a preseason like this kid in forever, man. It might be the greatest preseason that a quarterback has ever had in the history of the NFL. What he did in those 3 preseason games.
Yeah.
So,
almost remember Brett Ratliff, Rob? The preseason he had?
Yeah. But Streveler making comebacks like that each game.
Yeah, I know.
And throwing winning touchdowns each game. That's kind of unheard of. And, it was fun for the fans, man. So that's why he's probably, and has been rightfully so the talk of the town over the last, 2 weeks or so, and especially after yesterday. So, and it's going to be funny to see if he actually makes it through waivers and actually, is put on the practice squad, because then you have in practice, whether it's him or it's Mike White, actually taking the snaps for the defense. So, that's what happens during the season.
Right.
Practice squad quarterback takes the snaps for the defense. So it would be interesting to see who it is that they have out there taking those snaps. Because if it's Streveler, that means Mike White is getting 0 snaps in practice. Because it would have basically left up to Zach and Flacco getting the offensive snaps. And if Streveler is taking the snaps for the defense, Mike White is really basically doing nothing. So that's just going to be interesting to see.
Now, Rob, this is hypothetical. I don't really like doing this, but if Zach was healthy, do you think Streveler would have had a better shot at making the team over White, or it would have been the same?
It'd have been the same. Nothing changed.
Okay. And Rob, too, also what I saw yesterday, I think he's really improved, but we saw it last year. I mean, Berrios is going to be a big part of this offense. I mean, that nice catch and run yesterday, he's just going to be that reliable, to me, third down guy along with Moore. That's who I think Zach and Flacco will be looking for on third down a lot.
It's not going to be just third down, Pete. Berrios is going to be games at certain situations, throughout the season where it's not just him coming in as a third down guy. They're going to pretty much use him like they were using him last year. You saw him in special situations. And he's a guy that when he gets the ball in his hands, he can make plays. So I'm sure, LaFleur sees that. He saw it last year. He tried to get him the ball as much as he could. And, He showed it again yesterday. You know, it's not easy to do when you make a catch on the sidelines, break a tackle and tightrope, and outrun guys to the end zone. But you know, he's a guy when he gets the ball in his hand, he knows how to make plays. He's not just a catch and go down guy. And you know, that just shows it from his return ability. You know, he's not just going to catch the ball and just kind of run out of bounds. He's making the best plays that he could. He's a shifty guy. I think he's slept on with his speed because you know, he's a lot faster than you know, given credit for.
So you could see him playing 65 to 75% of the offensive snaps this year?
I wouldn't say that, but
okay,
he's going to be in a lot more.
Yeah, that's high.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
You know, him playing half the snaps, possibly. You know, just depending on how game situations go. I still think that the running game is going to be a big part of this offense. So that's going to limit it for guys like Berrios and guys like Wilson. But you know, for him to get 20, 25, possibly 30 plays in a game, that won't be unheard of. You know, if an offense is taking 65 snaps a game and he gets 25, that's not an unheard of thing for Berrios.
Rob, real quick, and then I'll get to Terrence. Does the run blocking, you know, concern you at all this early in the preseason, or no?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Because I saw McGovern a couple of times yesterday, got blown up in the, you know, but
yeah, I saw that too. I definitely saw that.
It's happened a couple of times in each game. You know, the play that actually Zach got hurt on, he got blown up by Jordan Davis from Philly, who actually was driven right back into Zach's lap where he actually had to get out of the way. But I've seen it a couple of times in the running game, but no, it's not a concern of mine because the running game is actually okay last year. And McGovern was actually sitting right there in the middle of this offense. It's just I think the flip flop for AVT, that's who actually has to get used to going to the other side. But I'm not concerned with that at all.
Yeah, Rob and Terrence, real quick, I'll get to you. Rob, what really impressed me the most, the whole game, that one play, it wasn't Quan Alexander, it wasn't Michael Clemens, you know, slamming, well, legally hitting Tyrod Taylor.
Lakin Tomlinson and Dwayne Brown.
Well, that too, but that Jermaine Johnson rush, man, that move he put on, man, like that was really impressive, man. Like from a rookie, I didn't expect, like I was just shocked, and he flushed Taylor right out, and then Clemens just high motored and just bared down on him. He closed like really quick. That was really like, I'm like, man, this defense, man, these young guys, we haven't seen this in years, man.
Me personally, Pete, you know, that's expected of Jermaine Johnson. He did that, you know, all at Florida State. He'd get off the ball quick and he'd get to the quarterback quick. Me personally, the play where I saw Lakin Tomlinson and Dwayne Brown kind of just crush, I don't even know who the defensive end was that tried to put a spin move on Dwayne Brown and he caught him.
Oh yeah,
right in the middle of the spin, and Lakin Tomlinson kind of cleaned him up. You know, seeing that right there so early on, you know, Dwayne Brown and Lakin Tomlinson haven't played together at all. You know, this is the first time they actually stepped on the field together, and to see that, but also even without that part of Lakin Tomlinson actually cleaning up the defensive end and kind of just pancaking him to death, it just, for me, was Dwayne Brown reacting to the spin move and not even being fazed by it. You know,
yeah, he held them up good, man. You're right.
Yeah, he stood his ground and he was right there. There was no qualms for me about him actually, you know, being in there. And I actually just liked the way that he played the entire game. There was actually no pressure coming off that left side, and the run blocking as well on certain plays where he actually was cleaning guys up as well. So that was actually good to see for me, with him getting his first game experience, you know, this preseason.
Go ahead, Terrence.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, Rob, again. Yeah, I guess Pete was alluding to it, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier with Petey about, you know, and Tenard about Bryce Huff. But to me, it seems like what I saw in this third game in particular was just how the potential of all these guys basically playing the edge and the pass rush, and also the fact that Quinnen Williams, like if the quarterback has to move up into the pocket in order, to avoid the rush, that he's going to be there also to clean up in the middle. And to me, it just seems like it may take the offense a couple of games because, like Dwayne Brown is just, getting used to the people he's been playing with. But I'm expecting that running game to be effective. It just may take a game or two for the line to kind of gel, kind of like what happened last year. Like it looked bad at first, and then the line improved. But to me, I just to me it just seems like this defense. While it's not. I don't think this defense is going to be 32nd in the league again this year. I think that pass rush is going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And also when you consider the additions, that we have at cornerback with Sauce and Reed, basically, to me, like it's not, nobody's going to be as open as maybe they were last year. And if that rush is coming at them, I just think, that at least to me, the defense may be ahead of the offense in the early going. But I really think that with these guys that we've acquired through the draft, Clemens and JJ, basically just for right now, I guess being second teamers, but just how deep it is, and the fact that when the fourth quarter comes and you got a team that may be either in a tie game or maybe even behind, and us effectively running the ball, that the fact that they can, our defense, our pass rush can be fresh and going after these guys. I think it's, I definitely think will be maybe more like middle of the pack, this year, and with potential to get even better as the rookies get a little more experience. But just wanted to get your sense on that. Like in terms of like, where do you see this, this defense if everything goes according to plan? Quan Alexander being there as well. Like it just seems like, we may be a little soft at free safety a little bit, but maybe Pinnock becomes the backup. But to me, it just seems like this defense is not going to be in the bottom 10 this year.
It's not. If the majority of the guys can actually stay healthy for the season, with Quinnen, the way he's actually improved every year, it's not going to be where guys are coming off the edge and a quarterback actually has to step up to get away. No, Quinnen is going to push the middle of the pack back to the quarterback. So that's actually going to give the guys coming off the edge better chances at getting sacks. I'm fully expecting Quinnen to actually have a Pro Bowl season if he can stay healthy. He's just that type of talent. Now, will he get 10, 12 sacks? We don't know. But he's going to do a lot of things for this defense to create a lot of havoc for opposing offenses. They're going to have to actually double team him a lot, so that's going to free up the other guys to attack the other offense. And that being said, that's going to free up the linebackers to attack the offense. So that's actually a good thing, and that's actually how Saleh actually likes to have his defense. If you watch the defenses in San Francisco for the years that he was there. The only actually issue, is going to be at safety, but I don't put a lot of stock in it actually being a total detriment to this team because there's going to be pressure out there, and there's actually going to be guys that can cover. So, to answer your question like that, do I think this defense is going to be much better? Absolutely. It's going to be a lot better than it was last year. These guys are fast. There's depth at the D-line, which is needed. And guys are hungry. So there's a reason why a couple of guys actually signed here, with this team being so young. They see what's here. So, hopefully, as the season goes on, the guys can actually put it together and keep it together week to week. And, You know, did they just go out there and have some fun and make a lot of plays all over the place?
Benny, give me 1 second. I want to ask Rob a question real quick. Rob, one of the things that I was extremely happy with yesterday was the way the linebackers played. Not just, Quan making that play, but the way that Jamie and Sherwood were just flying around the field.
Yes.
I love that because I felt like he was thinking less and just playing football. Another thing that I think is going to be a major help to him is just having CJ and Quan there, not just veterans, not that Quincy Williams is not a veteran because he has been in this league for 4 or 5 years. But I think those two guys, as far as Quan and CJ, being more understanding of their job because, they've been Pro Bowl guys in this league. I think that's going to help Jamie and Sherwood overall, as far as whether it's, him having a cover, him running to be able to, get a stop in the backfield. I love what I saw from him yesterday. When you watched the game yesterday, did you see anything different from what I saw? How did you think that Jamie reacted to, to finding the person with the football and things like that?
One thing you see that's different from last year, which is what I was talking about with Mims, is guys have been in the system, so they're not thinking out on the field. They're just reacting. So it's so much different to play this game at that level, at the NFL level, when you don't have to think about what I'm supposed to do. When you just know what you're supposed to do, you've seen it, the ball is snapped, and you just react to everything. What you saw yesterday you saw it on rare occasions throughout this preseason where wide receivers were running wide open. But what you did see was when the ball was thrown, as soon as the guys make catches, guys are right there. Guys are in their spots. They're playing defense like they're supposed to be playing defense. Batted balls down, contesting catches, all of that throughout the entire defense. And it's fun to watch when you got guys on defense that can do that. So you talking about Sherwood and Quincy Williams, these guys are flying around all over the field. So it's nice to see that there's a lot of speed out there in defense. It could also be a detriment that the one play where Tyrod actually got out of the pocket and scrambled for a first down. Guys are actually back in his face too fast. What happened? Carl Lawson was there. Quincy Williams was there. Carl Lawson actually went to go break down to make the play, and Quincy Williams ran him over and knocked him off of making a tackle on Tyrod. So he got out of the pocket. But there was a third guy there, and I can't remember who it was now. But 3 guys collapsed on Tyrod. He just spun out the way because Quincy Williams knocked over Carl Lawson. But when you see plays like that happening, it's good to see because guys are actually in there to make a play. It's different when a quarterback is actually standing back there in the pocket and has all day rather than being flushed out of the pocket. So, and when the ball is actually thrown down the field, guys are around the ball. A couple of times yesterday where on incomplete passes, a pass thrown low to a receiver or a tight end, but there's a defensive back right on his back. So if the ball was, a little better thrown, it would be a contested catch. So that's good to see. But, the guys in this defense, for another year, rookies that are still here, that will possibly be on a 53-man roster, these guys, are just feeling much more comfortable about this defense and the depth that's out there. It's just going to help, tremendously throughout the season.
And folks, we're talking to Rob Carpenter, former Jet. And if you're down in the listener spot, guys, and if you want to ask a former NFL player a question, come on up. Don't be shy. Rob's Rob's a cool guy. Don't be afraid. Come up if you want to say something. We still got hands up. And come on up.
Yeah, because I'm sending out requests right now. I'm sending out requests to whoever's not up, the ones that you usually speak. So
yeah, we want other people to get involved and get into this. But go ahead, Benny.
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
What's up, bro? What's going on?
Yeah, I was trying to hop in earlier, but I just left work. I'm working at the U.S. Open right now, so the match was going a little bit late today. But
did Serena win?
Yeah, watching Serena today was kind of surreal. Like, I worked at the U.S. Open last year, but she wasn't a part of it. But seeing her like 10 feet away from me is kind of like, holy shit! Like, that's legendary. Like, that person is legendary.
I got it on my TV, man. I got it on mute. I've been watching it this whole time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely insane. But yeah, the question I wanted to ask you, man, is obviously from the fans' point of view, last year we were a terrible defense, and I know going into this year, people are already a little bit sour on Jeff Ulbrich. A lot of people don't think he has what it takes to be a really good defensive coordinator in this league. But obviously, that's just the fans watching and realizing the product on the field is terrible. Granted, because injuries, everything that we had to deal with last year. But yeah, what's your perspective on Jeff? Do you think he's he could be a really good defensive coordinator, or is a lot of the fans' worries granted? You know what I'm saying?
The fan worries about Ulbrich and the defense is just years in the making. You know, there hasn't been a defense around since a really good defense for this team since Rex. So guys are always going to be comparing whoever came after that to Rex and what was going on there. Now this team being as young as it was last year, as injured as it was last year, and to see what they did this offseason, bringing in some good veterans, you know, to put in the mix with these young guys. You know, that's the whole thing that Saleh and Ulbrich wanted. They got it. It seems to be working right about now because the guys are out there actually, you know, they bought in. They're having fun with what's going out on the field, and you get the difference. So from last year to this year, again, a lot of that is gonna stem on hopefully guys staying healthy throughout the whole season. The majority of guys staying healthy throughout the whole season. So it's just gonna be fun to watch, man. I think you know by the time the season's over, the fans who really are kind of sour on Ulbrich will all that'll change. Because I do think this defense is going to be you know really good by the time the season's over.
And Rob, just to follow up on that, I mean, I want continuity here, man. I'm tired of seeing revolving doors, you know, with coaches. That's why I think people are saying, like, some people, like, I'm not paying attention. I mean, I see it, but I don't feed into it now. Salah is going to be here for the long haul. I mean, that I personally believe that. Like, I don't think he's going anywhere. And I just think with the second year continuity, like you were saying, with the defense and even the offense now, people are just more comfortable here. And, you know, Rob, that we had the most ever rookie defensive snaps in NFL history. And I don't think Jet fans really understand that, how young this team was last year.
And one of them just got released, which is crazy when you think about the talent.
Yep. So, I mean, it's just, you know, I just think being in the system again, like you said, it's just comforting. And, you know, a lot of people are going to be a lot better off this year. So I don't think Ulbricht's going anywhere, to be honest.
None of these guys are going anywhere anytime soon. The front office, coaching staff, they got a plan that they're actually trying to put together. All of this is going to stem on Zach Wilson. And, you know, even if, hypothetically speaking, Zach doesn't pan out, they're still not going anywhere because they know that's the one position that actually, you know, will determine a lot for your team. But if they've hit on Zach and Zach plays, you know, if his ceiling continues to go up and the trajectory just continues to go up, this team is going to go up with him. So, you know, and that's the hopes. It seemed like it was going to be going that way. You know, this injury is a little bit of a setback because it's taking snaps away from him, but he's also got mental reps that he could take as well. You know, for the remainder of this preseason that he did, and at the same time, it actually helped him when he came back last year. So,
yep.
You know, hopefully it continues in that direction. But I'm not saying you know, the injuries aren't a concern at this moment because hopefully, you know, this is just something that actually, you know, will dissipate from here on out, and he makes you know, good decisions when he's scrambling and stuff like that, and doesn't take hits, you know, unnecessary hits, you know, to keep himself healthy. But you know, it's all going to fall on him. The defense is going to be good. They have skill position players all over the field now. The offensive line is going to be playing, you know, pretty well. So, you know, it's going to be all up to Zach. And if he, like I just said, if his trajectory continues to go up like it was doing at the end of last season, even though there's so many people complaining about the fact that he wasn't throwing touchdowns at the end of the season. Well, everybody that was actually on the field doesn't even play for this team anymore, except the Barrios. So, the guys that are actually going to be playing now and get a chance to play with at the end of the season. And he still didn't throw any interceptions. So, his ceiling is high, man, and the trajectory for him should be high. And this team is going to go as he goes, and hopefully, it goes through the roof.
Yeah, I'm just glad you mentioned the continuity too of the coaching, because Rob, I know I've seen you. We've been on Twitter for a long time, man, and some of this stuff is comical. Like, people were calling for Saleh to be fired after Wilson got hurt. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? I don't even want you to comment on that, but there's just some laughable stuff. I mean, this guy's going to be here. I really like what he's preaching here, because there is a legit plan here. And Rob, I bought into this, I've suffered a long time with this team, and I'm being patient with this team, honestly. Like, it's going to take another year or two, to really fully see what this plan is really going to evolve to. And I'm just looking forward to these young guys, man. It's nice to see that we're growing and building a team, from within, and not signing all these, players that we think we're going to plug in, and, that are just busts, like Tremaine Johnson and everybody, It's just refreshing to see.
Just think about this, Pete. Jets fans are probably a lot more crazy than Cincinnati Bengals fans and always want somebody fired. But just think, last season, the whole Bengals fans wanted their coach fired at the beginning of the season last year. And look where they went. All those fans that wanted him fired 4 or 5 games into the season, all of a sudden shut the hell up at the end of the season. And it's just, it's comical, like you just said, with certain, fandom of people wanting change constantly. But they want something to bitch about all the time. So that's what they actually ask for. So, it's just certain people, man, certain fans. They always want to bitch about something. So if they have it to bitch about, they will.
Yep. All right. Defense. You had your hand up?
Oh, yeah. So I just have a question for Rob about Denzel Mims. I'm a big believer in this kid's talent, and I'm glad that you mentioned about last year, a totally different system for the kid. But hypothetically speaking, if he doesn't get traded, and I don't think he's going to get cut, do you think he's going to be able to have opportunities to make plays?
He'll have certain opportunities throughout the season. He's not going to be a guy that's actually going to be on the field, a lot, because he's not going to be out there in front of Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, or Corey Davis much. But I'm pretty sure that going into certain games, they can see a matchup where they can utilize his big body, his speed, and get him down the field, or even get him in the red zone on certain matchups against certain teams. So you'll probably see some specialty things for him, going into the season if he's there, during the season. But for me to sit here and say, do I think he's going to get a lot of playing time throughout the season? I don't think so. He'll probably get more than he did last year, but it's just not going to be enough for him to make a significant impact on the offense.
I appreciate that. My last question about the wide receiver room is Braxton Berrios. He's a playmaker. He's quick, he's electric, he's fast, he's great in the open field. But last year, he only got his playing time because, every week a wide receiver was out, whether it was Corey Davis or Elijah Moore, so like hypothetically speaking, if our 3 receivers stay healthy and Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Garrett Wilson, how much playing time can Braxton Berrios really get?
He'll get quite a bit. I just touched on that a little while ago. Hypothetically speaking, for the most part, offenses run between 60 and 70 plays a game. You can see Braxton Berrios on the field for, between 20 and 30 plays on offense. And, last year, you saw as the season went on that LaFleur was actually trying to get the ball into his hands. And that's going to continue. they know they have a weapon in Braxton Berrios. A lot of teams out here, a lot of defenses would sleep on him still. This season, so he can be a matchup nightmare for guys because he's quick enough in the slot, man. He doesn't get jammed. He has a lot of speed coming out of breaks, so it's hard for DBs to cover him. And he makes plays down the field, and when he gets the ball in his hands, he's looking to score. He's not looking to just go out of bounds or go down quick. He's looking to get to the end zone, and he has the ability to do that. So, throughout this season, you'll probably see a lot of specialty plays for him in game situations. So don't think he's just going to be that guy that just comes in on third down, because that's not going to be it.
Let's get to
Thank you. I
Petty.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Petty. Go ahead. You there, Petty?
Yep, I'm here. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right.
So Carp, quick question. So I know it's difficult to gauge rookie receivers, but I have two questions actually. What do you think of how do you think Garrett Wilson is going to or what maybe like a stat line or something close to that? Like, what do you think his um how do you think he's going to perform this year? And then to I wanted to piggyback on defensive. This is Denzel Mims' question. I know you were saying that he's not probably going to get a lot of snaps, but do you think that he can work his way into the rotation with impressive play and impressive work in the in the practice sessions?
At this point, I don't think he's going to get anything like 30, 40 plays. I don't think that's going to happen. 10 to 15 plays a game. Yeah, I think he'll be out there for that. But again, he's not going to, barring injury, he's not going to be on the field more than Garrett Wilson or Corey Davis or even Berrios. But yeah, there will be specialty situations. I think they'll try to get him the ball, at certain times, in certain areas of the field, knowing they can have, some matchup advantages, against certain teams. And Garrett Wilson, he's probably going to catch, 40 to 50 passes this year. Even though he's that first round choice, that high first round choice, he's still caught in a little bit of a numbers game as well, because Elijah Moore is the number one guy. Everybody knows that. They're not going to just, put Corey Davis out there and not get him the ball. He's a guy that's going to catch a lot of passes if he's healthy. So, Garrett is going to be fighting, those two guys for passes. He's going to be fighting, the tight ends for passes as well as the running backs, because the running back's going to catch a lot of passes as well. So, there's only one ball to go around, and it's kind of a good thing to have when you have all these weapons all over the place. But as far as individual things go, there's not going to be one guy out there that's going to stand out so much more than everyone else. But Elijah Moore is going to be that number one guy, so you would expect him to get the bulk of what's out there, but it's not going to be so much more. It's not going to be where he catches 100 passes and the next person's catching 50. It's not going to be anything like that. There's going to be, some continuity in there, but he should be the number one guy, when it's all said and done at the end of the season.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Benny, and then Terrence.
Yeah, no, I kind of want to build off that point where it's like, I think it's amazing as a Jet fan for the first time, at least, I don't know, as long as I can remember, because I'm only 23 years old. I practically know only bad football. But granted, we were able to draft guys this year where, like, Garrett Wilson, if we drafted Garrett Wilson 2 years ago, everyone's expecting him, and we're going to rely on him to be wide receiver one out of the gate. But it's a beautiful thing that now we have people to take the pressure off him where he could develop at a pace. Even with Sauce Gardner, while I look at DJ Reed could still take some of the pressure off Sauce, where Sauce doesn't necessarily have to guard everyone's number one every single play. You know what I'm saying? So I love that we were able to actually draft guys and not force them into certain expectations right away. But kind of moving on to my next point is with Garrett Wilson, I don't think Zach Wilson's going to be able to play week one, maybe not even week two. We don't know. They haven't released anything yet. But say Joe Flacco is playing week 1 and week 2, how do you think that helps develop Garrett Wilson? Where I think Joe Flacco like processes a little bit quicker, probably knows exactly where to put the ball more times than not. So I feel like seeing Joe Flacco on the field week 1 and week 2 might help Garrett Wilson accelerate his development a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Instead of Zach. What do you think about that?
Well, knowing Flacco, Flacco's a quarterback that likes to throw the ball down the field. He does process things. He's seen a lot in this league. There's probably not going to be many defenses out there that will fool him. But he likes to get the ball down the field instead of those short passes. So with Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore and Corey Davis running, corner routes and deep outcuts and crossing routes, that's the stuff that Flacco actually likes to look for. And I don't know if many people remember this part about when Flacco started games last year. Elijah Moore was his number 1 receiver, and it was everything down the field. And those games showed that Elijah Moore is a true number 1 receiver because, I mean, to be honest with you, he was tearing Xavier Howard's ass up in Miami. And everybody knows Xavier Howard is a Pro Bowl guy. So, and he did what he needed to do against the Colts, even when Mike White was, starting the game. But, it will help Garrett Wilson a lot with Flacco in the game. Not saying it's not going to help with Zach, because Zach is actually going to be going through progression a lot more than Flacco will. Flacco will come out and say, all right, I got this advantage over here. I'm going over there. I'm going to give this guy a shot. And he will probably do that much more than Zach Wilson will. And that's an advantage for Garrett Wilson, for Elijah Moore, for Corey Davis. Because those guys know that Flacco will take a shot. He's not one to just say, all right, I'm going to take what's right there in front of me right now all the time. If it's a flat route that's only going to get 3 or 4 yards, for Flacco, and he can see, a matchup where he can get 15 or 16 down the field to a wide receiver, he's going to take that 15 or 16 or take a shot at it at least, rather than just take that quick 3-4 yards. So Garrett can learn a lot from Flacco, and Flacco will help him out a lot. As the season progresses, if he has to play a lot more, to start the season.
All right, Terrence, then Frankie, and then Carp. I got a few, and then we'll have you back to the U.S. Open.
All right.
Go ahead, Terrence.
Yeah. Hey. I guess I'm glad that Benny kind of mentioned Zach, because it's ironic that pretty much the entire space, nobody's mentioned him at all, maybe just in passing. And I just wanted to, I don't know how often you've been at training camp. I was just hoping, because we haven't talked to you since training camp opened, to get some insight from you on maybe what you were seeing from him in comparison to last year, because all we saw was that first game against the Eagles where, he telegraphed that interception and he overthrew Wilson, and that, and in all fairness to him, a veteran like Flacco threw an equally as awful interception yesterday. So it's, I don't necessarily think it's, like second year jitters, but, can you speak to what you've seen and also how that pretends to, when he does come back? Because I also think one of the reasons why Streveler was cut is a sign that maybe, that Zach will definitely be playing before week 4, because they could have probably put him on IR for the first 3 games if they felt the injury was going to linger. So hopefully it's just maybe 1 week at the most. But, I guess the Jets are probably going to keep that information tight until they can't, until they have to reveal it. But anyway, just some insight on that, since, you were at camp and what you've seen on that.
Well, Zach was actually having a good camp. You can tell the difference in him, from last year to this year, because he was a lot more comfortable in the offense. He was a lot more comfortable calling the plays. That makes a difference when you don't have to think about a whole lot. You know what it is. You're on the same page as your offensive coordinator, your quarterback's coach. Come to the line of scrimmage and you just see what's out there, and you just go through your progression on a play. Now, the first series of that Eagles game, with him throwing the interception, honestly, I didn't expect him to come out as vanilla as they did, but that's preseason. Teams aren't going to show a whole lot. The first couple of preseason games, they're just coming out in super vanilla offensive plays and defensive plays, and just trying to get in the plays that they need to get in and go down the field and get everybody out and get everybody else healthy if they can. But with Zach, I think he was just like, you know what? The first one is there. The first read is there. I'm going to take it. And I don't even think he just read what was right there in front of him, because either way, that pass going to Corey Davis would have, if it wasn't picked off by the linebacker coming across, it was going to be batted down by the defensive back that was right on Corey Davis's back. So either way, that wouldn't have been a complete pass. But throughout camp itself, Zach has showed a lot as far as the progression that he made from last year to this year. Again, he looked a lot more comfortable. He was liking everything that he saw downfield. The additions of Conklin and Uzama were working out great for him, because he looked for Conklin quite often in practices. And I'm pretty much sure that that's going to take place throughout the entire season, and I said it from the beginning of training camp that Conklin is going to be his number one guy as far as tight ends go. And I'm pretty sure that as long as Conklin can stay healthy through this season, Zach is going to be looking for him down the middle of the field, because it's going to be a lot of big plays for him down the middle of the field. And having a good tight end is always good for a young quarterback. But Zach just looked different, man. He just looked like he had command of everything that was going on out there. And but will there be times where he gets confused? Of course. It's only his second year in the league. He's not seen everything. He's not that super vet that's out there, and not every vet that's been around for 10 years can say they've seen everything. They've seen a lot. They've seen quite a bit. They probably won't be fooled quite often, but even 10, 12-year vets get fooled here and there, and don't make the right play. Because like you just said, that interception that Flacco threw was awful, but you saw what he was trying to do. Flacco was actually trying to get the ball to Michael Carter. He just made a bad pass. If he'd have threw the ball further down the field, of course, it'd been a completion and it'd been a first down and a big play. But there were two guys open there, and I have no idea why Flacco actually decided to throw the ball back across the body instead of leading, to the sidelines. But it happens to the best of them. Tom Brady even throws interceptions, so he's considered the greatest quarterback of all time. So, but Zach actually just looked a lot more comfortable this year than last year.
Go ahead, Frankie.
Yo, Rob, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing?
What's going on, Frank?
What's up, man? I remember when you had helped Petey out of the Halloween ballroom after that fiasco for that draft party. Oh my Lord.
With the security guard. I just asked him, remember that? Oh, my gosh.
Rob was there. Rob actually helped you out. You're lucky Rob was there. If Rob wasn't there, you would have been screwed.
We'll get into that at a different time.
That seemed like it was a lifetime ago.
That was 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
Rob,
man.
you know what's funny? I just found the picture of me, you, remember Team Thirst Trap? Remember him?
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. You were at that party, man. That was a nice party, man. That was 10 years ago. Damn. Go ahead,
it's
Frank.
crazy,
Frank,
right?
I'm still waiting for my compensation, by the way.
Yeah, we didn't have security insurance then. Good thing, because we would have been screwed. But no, really quick, I just wanted to make a point, just general. I just think this team has talent on both sides of the ball. There's no denying it. We have talent at the tight end, offensive line, wide receiver position. Our defensive line, when things get dialed up correctly, they're great. We have CJ running the linebackers. Sauce, best pick, in my opinion, top 10 pick of that first round. I love Sauce. I loved him when we drafted him. I know Jet fans wanted Kayvon. I wanted Sauce. Sauce is awesome. He was, in 24 snaps of preseason as a rookie. And trust me, other teams want to target the rookie, they didn't target him because they know how good he is. Besides that point, my only thing with the Jets is this. Our coaching staff, that's where I am not yet sold. And I'm not saying they're bad, but I need to be sold on the coaches because you can dial up a cover 3 versus Jalen Hurts and Quez Watkins, and they run the right route that's gonna bust you on a cover 3. I don't trust our coaches. I don't trust Ulbrich yet as a defensive coordinator, and I don't trust LaFleur yet as an offensive coordinator. Not saying that I'm off or I'm saying they're going to be bad. I'm just saying the talent on our team is there. It's the coaches that I don't think yet are able to put these guys in a position to make the right play. Because, Rob, man, if you dial up the right play call, it doesn't matter who's playing. You're going to get yards. On the other side, if you dial up the right play call as a defensive coordinator, the right blitz that's, confusing the quarterback, and then are able to, dissect it with the center as to where they need to slide protection, you might get pressure on the quarterback. That's football more than I think people realize. And I'm not saying you guys, I'm saying in general. I was in a space the other night and they're like, why is this receiver getting open? If we have AJ Brown, isn't Sauce Gardner going to be able to offset him? I'm like, they might not be playing on the same side. Sauce may be playing on cover 2 and the receiver's running a different route. So in my opinion, the talent's there, A. B, and I'll say this, and I got killed for this, Petey. I don't want you to kill me for it. I know you're going to kill me for it, but I'll say this. If we come out this year and we win 5 games, 6 games, I'm not going nuts. Our talent's there. Carl Lawson's a year into his Achilles. Sauce Gardner's a year after his rookie year. Garrett Wilson's a year in. Zach Wilson's a year in. Let's be a little patient because we have a great core. Joe Douglas did a great job drafting. We have a great team, potentially, talent-wise. Give them time. The New York freaking media, they want to burn everything down. If we go 0-2 or we're 1-5 or even if we're 5-9, they want to burn everything down. Give it time. We have a great, talented roster that we need to give time to. We're not going to make the playoffs this year. I'm just being honest. We're not. It's okay. The Chiefs didn't make the playoffs before Mahomes got there and was the guy. Give it time. That's all I'm saying. So that's all I wanted to say. I just don't want Jeff Finch to come in this year. If we win 5 or 6 games, it's a clusterfuck. They want to fire Saleh. They want a new offensive coordinator. Give it time. The talent's there. We have a great team from a talent perspective. It's going to take time. Breece Hall's not going to come out and rush for 1,000 yards. He might. I hope he does, obviously. But, he may not. It's okay. It's fine. Michael Carter is great. Maybe Breece Hall has 600, 700 rushing yards. Michael Carter has 600 or 550, and it's 1,200 yards rushing. It's this whole fantasy craze these days. It's this guy sucks because he wasn't an RB2. Who gives a shit? I honestly don't care who our running back is, who our quarterback is. We need to build. We need to have a good team, good chemistry, and then we'll be able to build something for the future. That's all I wanted to say.
Frank, unfortunately, with the media here, with the fans, with everything being so bad for so long, if the team won 10 games and didn't make the playoffs, they would still be screaming about burning it down. So, the thing is that the ownership, and I know a lot of fans hate Woody Johnson, but he's sitting back right now. He's not thinking about making any changes anytime soon because he's even bought into what Joe Douglas and Saleh and those guys are actually, like you said, trying to build. And the one thing that a good team will need is, like I said in the last segment, is a QB. So it's all gonna fall on Zach Wilson. And if he can stay healthy and he can play, well enough to keep his progression on the rise, this team is going to go places eventually. And because yes, there is talent all over the place. I'm not doubting the coaches at this moment. Coaches from the coaches were rookies last year here. They were dealing with basically a rookie squad last year. So you shouldn't have expected them to do a whole lot last year with as many rookies as they had to play dealing with the injuries that they had, as well as playing a rookie quarterback, and from day one. People forget that Flacco did get here till kind of late. Zach didn't have that was the one thing that I commented on last offseason that Joe Douglas didn't do, was bring in a veteran quarterback to kind of help Zach along before the season started. Flacco got here, and by the time OTAs and the June workouts and everything were going on, it was a little too late for Zach. So he actually had to learn on the fly how to be a pro, because there wasn't a vet that was actually in the room with him to teach him how to be.
Rob, you think we should have started a vet last year early on?
I do, absolutely.
So did I, 100%.
I don't think Zach should have started the season, but again, Flacco didn't get here till late. So if they had brought in a vet quarterback that could have been on the sidelines and in rooms and teaching Zach how to be a NFL quarterback, which is something that he had to learn how to do in every aspect. He had to learn how to be a pro coming into the building. He had to learn how to be a pro in meetings. He had to learn how to be a pro in practice.
With shorter training camps. Training camps are short now. They're like 2 weeks. They don't even do 2-a-days anymore. It's crazy.
Right. So, and then on top of that, he had basically rookie coaches going along right with him. But the coaches are here. The coaches that are here, they're good coaches. I don't have any doubts about the coaching staff that's actually here, because these guys actually put in the work. They know what they're doing. But there's a good veteran mix with the rookies that were here now, and this is actually a good core. And other players from around the league saw that. Quan Alexander said that. Jordan Whitehead said that. That's the reason why they signed here. They see what's here. This used to be the laughing stock. You wouldn't get guys like that in years past to come here and want to play. But guys actually want to come here and play now. So, that's a good thing. And as long as everything keeps going on the up and up, man, it's just going to get better. But like you said, it's going to take time. I don't expect them to make the playoffs this year. It would be a wonderful thing if they won 9 games. It's going to be a tough thing for them to win 9 games. They got a tough schedule in the league, so but we'll see how it goes.
But I'm saying this, not to cut anyone off. What difference does it make if we win 8 games or we win 6 games? Like, who cares?
I can tell you it would make a big difference in the locker room. That the players would actually see that.
True.
Players know that they actually won games, a team that everyone else didn't think that they would win. So that would go a long way. So if they won 9 games and didn't make the playoffs, it would be a real sour taste in every player's mouth in that locker room, knowing that they should have won, 1 or 2 more games to make the playoffs. Now, if they win 5 or 6, that same feeling is not going to be there. But if you're winning, 9 games at the end of the season, that means you're in the hunt at the end of the season. You're still there, and those guys actually be playing for that. But they know that the talent is there, and they know it's still a young team for the most part. But that again, that good veteran mix that's in there is going to carry them through a few games.
Let's make it quick defense and Benny, and then we'll wrap it up with Rob.
Yeah, and I understand what Frankie's saying about like not expecting like astronomical numbers from a lot of young kids, but to say that we're not going to make the playoffs, I completely disagree. And Rob just hit the nail on the head. We have veterans that believe in Coach Saleh. They didn't come here to lose. They didn't come here to not make the playoffs. You've got guys like C.J. Uzomah, Tyler Conklin. We got freaking Laken Tomlinson, who just came here, Dwayne Brown. Then you go to the defense, and we're adding guys like DJ Reed, who had a top 10 season last year. You got Jordan Whitehead, Super Bowl, performance safety. The dude that just came here from Quan Alexander. Like, we are stacked with young talent, and we're stacked with veteran leadership. So it drives me crazy when people say we have no chance at the playoffs. I'm not buying that at all, man. This is like one of the most talented Jets teams we've had since 2010. So
but I'm saying gelling it together. You might not gel it together this year. You might have to do it next year. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you. I'm saying it might take one extra year. That's all I'm saying.
The reason why people in the media and all the pundits are down on this team not making the playoffs is because of Zach Wilson. So, they're holding on to that thing that Zach played terrible last year. but they're glossing over the fact that there's so many injuries at the end of last season. Him playing those last 5 games without a turnover. They gloss over that fact. There's no rookie out here that's not going to turn the ball over. For him to go 5 straight games without turning the ball over after coming back from injury, that's significant.
And Rob, it was not to cut you off, but it was more than just the 5 games with no interceptions. If you take away his first 3 games and you look at his last 10 games, he threw 4 interceptions, and it was an average of once every 69 and a half passing attempts. So his last 10 games, he threw an interception 1 every 70 times, man. His rookie season wasn't as bad as what it looks. You know, I don't know. Like you said, it is all on Zach Wilson. Like if we had a Pro Bowl quarterback, proven quarterback in this locker room, everybody would be predicting playoffs. You're right, man. It's all about Zach Wilson.
And you might be right with that. You know, like Rob said, it all depends on Zach because he has to show that progression to be able to come in, not just, you know, be in control of the entire offense when plays are called, but making the right decisions, understanding that, okay, he has a mismatch here. Let me go to that particular spot, change the play up, you know. So there's just so much more that goes into it than that. You know, like I'm not gonna say it's completely out of the realm that we can make the playoffs. It's a possibility because it's happened, you know, in the league so many times before. But at the end of the day, for us to go from a 4-win team to a 10-11 win team, it's so difficult. But let's see what this coaching staff and this entire team is made of, you know, in order to make that happen.
It is difficult, but it's not impossible. And look at the Bengals. You know, and I'm not saying that Zach Wilson is Joe Burrow, and I'm not saying that, you know, Elijah Moore or Garrett Wilson is Jamar Chase, or anything like that. But if you look at the makeup of that team, and you look at the makeup of this team, if Zach actually has that progression, it's the same team. And you know, things can actually happen in a good way for the Jets if actually Zach actually continues on that upgrade.
And Rob, I think we're a deeper team too offensively. You know, that the tier 1 talent may not be the same when it comes to Jamar, when it comes to Mixon, when it comes to Burrow. But as far as, you know, if you exclude the quarterback position, when you look at running back, receiver, tight end, we're a really deep team. So I think, you know, that part of it is favors us. But like you said, it all falls on Zach. If Zach is able to do what we, you know, what we see in him as far as putting the talent, you know, with everything in between the ears, it could end up being a really good season to the point where, like, everyone who has been saying that Zach is not going to be the guy for this franchise, for this team, where they just start cheering him on and be able to look at the positive side of things.
That's going to be the big question.
Rob, you going to week
it
one?
definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Let's go.
Benny, go ahead.
Pretty much every home game, I'll be there.
Yeah, Rob's always there. Rob, you're usually down in the corner in that little suite area, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob's a big shot now. He used to be in the parking lot. Now he's in the suite area. Unreal.
No, Rob. Hey, Rob's still there.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, Rob. Hey, Rob came over and said hello to my dad last year. That was
Damn,
nice of
okay.
him.
By the way, we're doing a thing with you guys at the Jet Lounge. Is Rob going to be there?
I didn't ask him. I'll send him the info though. I got a lot of crap to do that day, bro. But I'll be there for a little bit.
I got a bottle of Prosecco for Rob. Rob, I got you, bro. I owe you from that night that we didn't get the insurance claim with Petey's
here
exit.
we go. Hey, Benny, go ahead, and then I'll close this out with Rob. Rob, thank Frankie. That's funny. Rob, seriously, thanks for all your time tonight. We appreciate it. Go ahead, Benny.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make this quick. My first point, kind of reiterating what y'all were just saying. If anyone was to tell you right now that Zach would be like the 15th best quarterback in the league this year, everyone would be like, wow, the playoffs is like almost an expectation. But we're just a quarterback, not away from a Super Bowl, but a quarterback away from making legitimate noise and being a playoff team. But yeah, moving forward, obviously, granted, everyone loves Clemens. Clemens is a monster. He's doing fantastic things. His motor is honestly something that pops out on tape where, like, he doesn't stop. Defensive lineman, you see it a lot of times where the quarterback rolls out and the defensive lineman kind of quits on the play, like, I'm not gonna be able to catch up to him. Clemens doesn't stop, which is freaking amazing. But I think Clemens' play and his persona of being scary is kind of making people in a way kind of forget about Jermaine Johnson a little bit. I know we haven't heard Jermaine Johnson's name a lot during the preseason games where it's like, oh, Jermaine makes a play here, Jermaine makes a play here. But he almost had a sack yesterday, but he missed the tackle. But I don't know. What have you seen from Jermaine that's positive? You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people are kind of glossing over and forgetting that Jermaine was a first-round pick and a first-round talent just because we have Clemens and he's this big, scary dude who almost killed Tyrod Taylor yesterday. Like, let's be real here. But what have you seen from JJ that has been positive?
The one thing I've seen is that he's actually stout at the point of attack. He's not for him. I think it's actually getting used to the playbook. So for him, I think it was him just thinking a little bit too much the first couple of preseason games. But then, I think it came around and it clicked yesterday, where he just started going out there just, being free and playing. So he was in on a few plays yesterday. But also having the veteran presence out there because he talks to and he takes a lot of info from Carl Lawson. So the last 2 weeks that actually has helped him out quite a bit. But it won't be long, into the season before you start to hear Jermaine Johnson's name, whether putting pressure on the quarterback or running a running back down from behind, chasing down from the other side of the field. He'll be out there. He'll be making plays because he's starting to. It started to click just over the last week or so, and you're starting to see him just go out there and just react to everything from that.
Rob, my final thoughts. One quick point. Man, I just can't believe. I mean, I even seen it in practice too with Sauce, how he's just blanketing people. I mean, I know he's the real deal in my eyes. You believe that too? You think he's going to be elite right away?
Incredible, man. Incredible. In my opinion. Sorry to cut you off. Incredible.
It's all right.
The one thing he has going for him is the fact that he actually has to go up against 3 really good receivers in practice every day. So that actually was something that actually helped him out a lot. Because
such an underrated point. No one says that other than Rob Carpenter. No one says that. Seriously. You're the only one that would say something like that. I haven't heard that point ever, bro. That's so underrated.
Him going up against Elijah Moore every day helped him out tremendously because Elijah is going to kill a lot of these DBs in this league, and they already know it. Him helping out Garrett Wilson every day in practice has helped out both of them. Him having to guard Corey Davis every day, and Sauce talks a lot. He's talking on every play in practice. He's talking on every play in the game.
Yes, he does.
For him to go out and still have the confidence out there to go out there and want to back it up, the one thing that's going to help him out a lot as well is that Reed is on the other side. If Reed can stay healthy, Sauce is not going to have to cover, when they do go blitz and actually have to cover the other team's best receiver at all times. I think early on in the season, if DJ Reed is actually healthy, he's probably going to be the one doing that quite often. And Sauce will be covering number 2. But I do expect Sauce to make a lot of plays this year. He's going to be tested, but when those tests come, I expect him to, to pass quite a bit of those tests. It might not come in the form of a lot of INTs, but there'll be some pass breakups out there, and there'll be some big hits from him because he's not afraid to put a hat on somebody as well. So it's gonna be fun to watch him, man, because like I said, he talks a lot. He talks on every play, man. Even if it's a running play, he's out there talking. So, but he's got the skill to back it up. So it's gonna be fun, and he gets to sharpen himself up every day in practice, like going against Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, and Elijah Moore.
Rob, have you ever seen a corner at 6'3"? Oh, sorry, Pete. I just want to say I've never seen a corner at 6'3" that has the hip flexibility and is able to go toe to toe and just mimic the steps of a wide receiver like he is at 6'3". He's a hybrid between Jalen Ramsey and Revis. He really is.
He's probably got better hips than And Ramsey, I don't think
Absolutely.
At this point, I'm not sure he has the total package like Ramsey, because Ramsey actually knows the game a lot more than him right now. But when it comes to him getting that experience, learning from wide receiver splits, looking at positions of formations, learning everything from film to help him out, because that helps out a lot, man. When guys actually study film and then can learn certain sets and down the distance of what other teams do, you can react to everything that's right in front of you because you know what's basically going to happen right in front of you. So that's going to help out a lot. But at this point, Jalen probably has a little bit ahead of him. But as far as hip flexibility and stop and go and turn and run, Sauce has it, man. He's a tall kid. I haven't seen that a lot because you don't find too many 6'2", 6'3" corners that are actually out there that can cover these little guys like that.
Yeah, Rob, it's almost like real quick. It's almost like he knew what route they're running. What I seen in the training camps, man, he was just making the cuts before these guys were even perceiving their routes. So it was just incredible to watch. Like I was just stunned of how good. Go ahead.
Part of it, Pete, is film study. When you're in training camp, you basically know what the other guys are going to do. So as a receiver, that's why you want to get away from training camp, because you know that your own defense knows everything that's coming at them. They've seen us every day in practice. So Sauce knows the routes that are coming. They know the calls. They know the checks. They hear it every day in practice. So you kind of get fed up going against your own guys every day, but at the same time, it does make you better. So when you get in a game, it's like, all right, this is a fresh start, man. I got something new. I got somebody out here new that doesn't know everything that's going to be called right in front of them. As a receiver looking at defensive back, so you have a slight advantage out there because that defensive back really doesn't know anything that's going on in front of you right at that moment, like your defensive backs know in practice every day. But when it comes to one-on-ones, that's when you actually get to know what a guy actually has. When you get to that period where it's one-on-one, defensive back doesn't know what's coming. He has no idea. But then if he can cover you one-on-one, and blanket you like that for the most part, then a guy's actually got a lot of talent. And Sauce was out there, putting the blankets on a lot of guys at certain times, man. So it was fun to watch.
PD, before we let Carp go, one thing that I paid attention to was when Coach Oden, when he speaks to Sauce and he's telling him, as for, if a receiver's on the outside, you want to be able to, if you don't want the receiver to go to the inside, what you do is you force them to go to the outside, and you just understanding that, to be able to use that leverage that you have against the receiver. And I'm just watching the conversation between those two, just the fluidity of his lower body, the way that he operates and everything. It's just great to be able to see, Cromartie was very fluid with his lower body, but I think Sauce is much more flexible as far as just making that change, as far as direction to be able to get to where he wants to go.
That's correct. Crow had, his stride length was a little different. That's the difference. So Sauce has quicker feet than Crow. But Crow could read a route, man. He'll jump a route in a heartbeat. He see it coming and he knows what's there. But also at the same time, that got him into, trouble at times. Trying to jump around and getting beat here and there. But Sauce reads routes. He can get out of his bricks really quick. He sticks to guys, and he uses his keys. So the keys for defensive backs is reading the receiver's hips. That's what he does. If you watch him on film and you see the things that he's doing, he's actually reading his keys all the time. He doesn't guess a lot. He's in on knowing what he's supposed to be doing and taking advantage of that. So his keys are he's reading the receiver's release and then reading his hips on knowing what routes this receiver can run off this certain release. And he plays it that way. So, that's why he was also so good in college, man. Anybody that tried to throw his way, he was reading his keys and he was always there because he had the fluidity, he had the hip motion, He could get out of breaks right with a receiver, and he knew how to play the ball. So that's also a good thing.
Rob, my final thought, Rob, real quick. Does Vinny Curry and/or Solomon Thomas make the team?
I think Solomon does. I'm not too sure about Curry.
And I would agree with that. I don't think Vinny Curry makes the team. I think there's just too much talent on the inside from the younger guys.
Yeah.
Not that Vinny's not, he can't be a decent player for this team, but I think, like we have the leadership in so many different places. So I think they'll probably just go with the guy that has the upside right now because Vinny may not be able to give them what they would want, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. So I definitely agree with you on that, Rob. Go ahead, Petey.
You got Petty, make it quick, and then Rob's gonna go. Rob, thanks again, man.
It was all good, Pete.
Thank you again, Rob. Real quick, have you heard anything about DJ? Because I know you mentioned that when he's healthy, he's good. I mean, like I haven't seen him. I know he's got the hamstring, but you think he'll be ready by week 1?
Yeah, I do. It wasn't his hamstring that actually bothered him over the last few days. It was his knee, but I think that was just, a combination of things where he was just got a little banged up. But yeah, I think he'll be ready by week 1 because they've got 2 weeks basically now to get ready, and it's not anything that any coaches made any hubbub about him being nicked up. It was just basically Salah and the rest of the defensive coaches saying that he just needed the rest, so he'll have it for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And Rob, I'm sure we'll speak during the year. I'll be in touch. And thanks as always, man. Appreciate all your support, and your insight was incredible tonight. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you got it, Pete.
Take care, Rob.
Rob, thank you, Rob. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
All right. That was Rob Carpenter, guys. Make sure you follow him. Got real good insight. Rob's awesome, man. Always comes through for me. I've known Rob a long time. Always nice at the stadium, and just a good football guy, to go along with. Wow, that was a lot. I mean, guys, if you have anything you want to bring up, please. I don't want to hear about Strevler getting cut. I don't want to hear it. Please, we'll save that for another space. I'm not if Jeff fans are worried about a 4th stringer getting cut. We need to win a game in September. Strevler is not going to help us win a game in September, so we'll keep that moving. If you guys want to come up, because we're going to end the space, guys, during the year, the space may go to 1, 2 o'clock. Who knows on a Monday night, especially after a win. So, I'm just really appreciative of all the people that have come on here throughout the whole time and supported me and Tanad, like Terrence, Petty, Nick from U Stadium, Matty Ice,
Rusty, Pat,
Steven, who came in, Steven, Mr. Net over there. I'm sure Steven's ecstatic about Mr. Durant coming back, but I don't know.
Hey, as he should be, man.
Well, question is, are there going to be more meltdowns than Antonio Brown on the Nets this year?
Listen, man, they got to find a way to make it work. So if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But hey, Steven, I got to talk to you anyway because I have some plans for some basketball stuff that I need to talk to you about. So I'm going to message you later on.
Here he comes up now anyway. What's up, Steve? What's up, brother?
Guys, caught the end of that.
Not much.
It's been a very hectic day, so I wasn't able to get on this, but I'm actually gonna, when you guys shut this down, I'm actually gonna listen to the recording. I'm glad you record these, because I want to hear Carpenter and all that stuff I missed. But yeah, no, I am happy about the Durant coming back, but I'll be honest with you, it's like football season now, so it's like I'm like so happy. That's a great thing about sports. It's like once one book closes, another one opens. So it's been great.
Yeah.
So,
and Steve, it's cool because we met you on the middle initial space, and it's fitting. It's going on almost a year.
I know.
I remember going on spaces in November and December, and I enjoyed all our conversations. It's good to see you back,
I believe
man.
that was like the first one that got me into like spaces. Before anything, it was Jude, Case and everybody. It was those
Yep.
couple of the post game and the ones during the week got me into it and just started talking with all you guys. And it's been look at what it started for all of us. It's been great.
Yeah, that's how I met Tanad, on middle initials. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. And just looking forward to everything. Guys, and I don't know, I'm sure everybody realizes this, but Rob Carpenter just spent 2 hours with us talking Jets football. I mean, where else are you going to get that around here, So I'm doing my work for you guys, so is Tanad, but I'm not doing this to pat myself on the back, but this is really good content. Like, I want to hear former NFL players talk about my team, so it's just, I really appreciate Rob, Damian, Woody, all these guys that come on, man. It's a real positive for us as a community. What's up, Matty Ice?
Absolutely.
What's up? Oh, go ahead, Tanad.
Now I was gonna say something real quick. Terrence had touched on something that while Rob was on, as far as nobody bringing Zach up until Benny did. For me, it's just like right now he's not able to play and be our starting quarterback. So I really don't want to get into that topic. When he's ready, that's when I'm gonna come back to it. Like right now, the job is on Joe to be able to come in, do what he has to, and then take this offense to the next level. So that's, for me, that's one of the reasons why I didn't bring it up. Because Zach's not able to do anything right now. It's not like he's on the fence about possibly starting week 1. We know damn well Zach is not starting week 1. For anyone that may be like, oh, there's a chance that he's gonna start, he's not starting week 1. That's that. Like, I don't see any chance in that happening.
Go ahead, Matty, and then Rusty.
So, PD, I just jumped in late. I was just wondering, and not to make everyone relive everything, but what do you? I missed everything with Carpenter. What, in your opinion, what was the most interesting thing you said tonight?
Wow. I mean, there was so many things, Matty, wow. I'm kind of speechless because he touched on everything. I mean, the pancake block with Dwayne Brown and Lakeland Tomlinson, I forgot about that. Dwayne Brown stood this guy up and Lakeland Tomlinson came over and just completely lifted this guy. He lifted him right off his feet, right. And he just, and that stuff I don't think a lot of people see, man. See what Rob is. He just points out things that I don't think, us, not casual fans, but us regular fans, just don't see. Right. I mean, I know the game pretty well, but there's certain things especially on routes and stuff that Rob could. I mean, he's a former NFL player. He's gonna break it down for us. The way we don't see it as. That's that.
Did he say anything real poignant about his time with the Jets?
No, we didn't ask him anything. It was just basically about the Jet game and the roster decisions and what he's seeing, going forward.
Cool.
Go ahead, Rusty.
Yeah, Maddie, you probably should listen to this when you have time because it was recorded, because he covered, God, soup to nuts about all kinds of things. And I'm even going to go back and re-listen because I know I must have missed a few things that I just didn't pick up. But yeah, no, this was really, really good. Honestly, I couldn't even ask questions because every time I think of something, he'd already come up and start talking about it. And I'm like, oh, this is good. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to actually go back and listen to this too, because there were just so many good points that were brought up. And Tenard, you were really hitting a lot of good things too. And Petey, you kept drawing them out with more information for us, which was really good. Yeah, I didn't realize how many different things that Rob really knew about Elvis.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a very impressive.
And you know what makes it different, Rusty? It's different for me when we have a former football player on than when we have an actual writer on. it's completely different. The insights that you get, it's just so different because, I feel like this is probably like Rob's 30th time on here with us, but every time he comes on, there's just so many different things that he touches on, so many different things that we're able to learn, so many different things that he's able to point out that, like when he spoke about, people thinking that, like even for me, I thought the other day when that play was made against the Falcons, Joyner was supposed to, be in that area. Once he said that, I was like, you know what? Now you might be right, because when I watched it, there was someone else in that area with him. So either there was a miscommunication with the person that was supposed to be in that, covering that particular area, or, it just completely got blown up. So when he pointed that out, I was like, you know what? All right, now I got to look for something different now, because I'm trying to understand this defense that we're playing a little bit more and more. So when I watch things and we talk about them on here, I'm able to, paint a picture that others may not see, So he's always doing an excellent job as far as, just making it easier for us to be able to understand, what's being done on the field. And, it's great to be able to have someone like him to be able to come on with us. So that's the difference that I noticed, between having, him on, or any former player, compared to an actual writer on, because the insight is different.
Yeah. And guys, real quick before we get to Steven and Petty, next week we're gonna have a little pep rally. So Fireman Ed will join us next week, to get us all pumped up. And I also will have Antoine, the Daily News reporter, on. So 2 confirmed guests for next week already. And, during the year, the lounge is going to be popping, but I can't thank you guys enough. I always say it, but it's because of you guys that we have this show. Cause, I always reiterate this, and Tanad can come, to my defense on this. The first space we did, we had like 5 people. And then,
and we were talking for hours on it. That's the crazy thing. We was talking for like a good 2.5, 3 hours on it.
Yeah, and Terrence came on, and I believe Steven, you were on, I believe.
Mm-hmm. But both of them were on that night.
Yeah, and then the next show I had Connie come on, and then I asked Rob, and then all of a sudden, Tanada can tell you, Damian Woody popped in, and there was 500 people in the space, and it was overwhelming, and it was just like, wow, this thing really came full circle. And then, the next day, Sack asked, Tanada and I to join the Jet Lounge and form a team and, come with our stuff, and just, we can pick whatever night, keep our night. And here we are 6 months later, guys, and, it's growing. So shout out to you guys, for always being there.
Stephen and Petty, I have a question for everyone who's in the speaker role right now. Who are the 2 most impressive players on offense and defense for you guys? If you were at camp this season, if you had a chance to make it to camp, if you didn't get a chance to make it to camp, when you watch the games, who are the 2 players on both sides of the ball that you felt like, okay, really stood out to you? So, as far as them possibly making this team, or even if it's someone who, their status on this team was already cemented, as far as them definitely making this team. Who are the 2 guys on each side of the ball that you felt like, made a difference every time you saw them play? They played hard. They understood what was being done, even if it wasn't, something that happened all the time, because, it's football. Miscommunications happen, guys miss tackles and things like that. So who are the 2 people on both sides of the ball?
Tanad, I'll go first real quick. For me, for offense, it's Elijah Moore and Tyler Conklin. And on defense, I'm going to go with Sauce and,
you're probably going to go with a D lineman with this one. Because the person that I think that you're going to go with, I don't think you're going to go with that person. It's a linebacker, but I think you're going to go D line with that one.
It was a linebacker, but it's between Quinnen Williams and CJ Mosley, because Quinnen Williams really stood out to me in the camp. He does all the dirty work that people think, oh, he doesn't have sacks. He's getting double teamed, and he's creating holds. He's going to draw. Let me tell you, man, this defense, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm really excited, about this from what I saw yesterday. I mean, they were flying everywhere, that defense. And I think it's only a sample, of what we're really going to see.
Agreed. Rusty. Let's go to Rusty.
We'll
Rusty
just go
Terrence.
we'll just go on the right, and then Steve and Petty. Just
Okay.
two people on each side, and then we'll move on to the next one.
For me, two people on offense. Conklin was definitely amazing because it didn't matter who was the quarterback. He was catching the ball. He was really good. And more surprised me because he definitely looked like he was the number one. So those would be the two on offense. On defense, Clemens. I mean, between Clemens and, well, actually, teaming Clemens and Johnson, going after the quarterbacks and stopping anybody in their way. That was amazing to see because I watched all the preseason games and I saw some clips on Twitter for the camps because I wasn't able to go to any of the camps. But yeah, those are the two on each side. Even though Sauce, was well, nobody would throw near him, so you knew that had to mean something. So that would be it for me.
Terrence, go ahead, Terrence. Terrence, Steven, and then Petty.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with what Rusty just said. I wasn't at training camp. I can only read the reports and also see what the games were like. And to me, it's Moore and Conklin on offense, and Clemens. And I'm just trying to think. I'm just gonna say. The only thing I could think of really is we saw it in this third preseason game yesterday, but I just think Quan Alexander is going to be really helpful. Somebody just mentioned Quincy Williams ran into Lawson a little bit, and unless he gets unless he doesn't run around with his head on fire, I prefer Quan playing the majority of the snaps, provided he's healthy. That knee of his is healthy. But anyway, those would be the two for me on both sides right now.
Steven?
Yeah, for me, the way I always look at preseason is I always tend to look at the end of the roster guys more. Just because I feel like the starters, they're there, but I feel like they always go just a little safe because they don't want to obviously get hurt. And the end of the roster guys are the ones that are going to give you max effort. So my answers are going to be the first guy that really popped to me was Lawrence Cager, because he has just this athleticism to me as this hybrid tight end receiver that I know he's going to be obviously tight end 4 for us, but just his athleticism, and his ability just roster flexibility. He can be the wide receiver 6 or tight end 4 for me. And then on the other one on offense, like I said, Knight, the running back. It was just I just felt like he had a nice burst, and obviously we all know Hall and Carter. He's obviously behind all them, but I just thought he impressed me. Because we all, at least for me, I know what I'm for the most part getting in the starters and things like that. And then defense, obviously Clemens. I mean, he's the easy answer. I mean, I feel like he won training camp and the preseason, at least for the defense, for me at least, because he's just his energy. There was plays I was watching and he would just he wouldn't give up on a play until it was over, and I love that. And then the second one, obviously, Sauce, just because the joke I was joking with my buddies, how can you? He's it's a huge compliment. Like Rusty said, you can get impressive when you don't even participate. It's no one's even throwing at him, and that's the biggest compliment.
Sorry, I was on mute. Patty, go ahead.
My man almost stole my whole flow, word for word, bar for bar. But in all honesty, when it came to the offense, it was Cager and Knight for me for the exact reasons that Steven had mentioned. And on defense, it was Clemens and Jonathan Marshall. Jonathan Marshall, I wasn't certain about it because we did draft him for his athletic profile, which graded out close to what Aaron Donald was graded out coming up. Not to say that that's what he's going to be, but like that was his athletic profile, and all he did in practice and in the game against Atlanta was just show out and just be a wrecking ball. And I'm excited to see what he can do and see if he can end up supplanting Sheldon Rankins as the as the other defensive tackle, because like, to be honest, I'd rather have the young guys play rather than Sheldon Rankins, not to take anything away from Sheldon Rankins.
Petty, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, does Michael Clemens have a Twitter?
I have no idea why. What's
Does
up?
does anybody know if he does?
I have not seen his Twitter handle ever since we've got him to tell the truth, so I don't even know.
All right. I just got a photo, so I just wanted to tweet it to him. But check out the Jumbotron, guys.
And for me, I'm gonna cheat.
PD,
Okay?
he has Twitter.
I have
PD,
Jonathan
he has
Marshall,
Twitter.
Tenzel Smart. Oh, he does? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have Jonathan Marshall, Tenzel Smart, and Sauce. And the reason I add Tenzel Smart in there is because I didn't really see too much from practice because, I was watching different guys, but in games, he was getting in the backfield. So that's why I had to add him as a third person in there. Offensively, Elijah, like someone stated, he really showed me a lot, man, as far as understanding where he has to be, his route running and everything. Just, like we knew he had the explosiveness, but man, that play in practice to where he caught the ball on the outside, ran up, went inside, turned the defender around, and went back outside. It was like, man, it's like, okay, that's a touchdown play right there. Because if that's in the game, there's no way whoever it is that's in that area is catching him at all. And the second person I'm gonna say is gonna be Zach. The reason I'm gonna say Zach is because he had command of the offense in camp. He was doing a lot of things that we would want to see from him, and the coaching staff wanted to see from him. So, of course, we wanted to see that translated into preseason, but we didn't really get a chance to because his preseason was cut short. But to me, it was Zach and Elijah offensively. Conklin, I thought about putting Conklin in there, but the reason I didn't put Conklin in there is like, man, I see that, man, that he doesn't drop passes. He does not drop passes. And and if you look at his frame, he looks much wider than Kelsey. Of course, Kelsey looks taller, but he's just much wider. So it's just like if a DB's behind him, they're not able to see if the ball is coming to him or not. So he would have been my third pick, but I think, Zach and Elijah definitely showed me a lot, as far as the chemistry between them, and then like I said, Elijah just showing that he's ready to be the best receiver and the number one receiver on this team.
Yeah.
No, you good. Let's go to Justin real quick. What's going on, Justin?
Hey guys, how are you?
Pretty good. What's going on?
Talking about cuts. Sorry, I joined in late. What's the biggest surprise? What's the biggest surprise for you guys? For somebody that's gotten cut.
I mean, I thought, Justin, good to hear from you. I mean, I was surprised Jackson got cut today, but
Kelvin,
that's kind of the biggest surprise.
I wanted to see him stay over Jeff Smith personally, but I understand why they didn't.
I think they're going to keep 6 now, and Smith's making it.
Yeah, Smith's staying for sure. I thought they could have taken him over Smith, but I think Smith's staying.
It's crazy because I've been thought they were keeping 6. Like there was no way they were keeping 5 receivers. There's too much talent on this team at the wide receiver position to just keep 5.
Tanad, unless you keep 5 and then add Cager as your 4th tight end and then keep another defensive lineman or something. But
correct. Hey, guys, check out the Jumbotron, the Michael Clemens hit, if you could see it.
That's a hug. That's a bear hug right there.
You talking about the picture I posted of Clemens hitting Tyra?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, somebody sent it to me about 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
I just saw it.
I saw it. Yeah, Clemens posted it on Instagram.
That's pretty. That's pretty.
Man, hey, PD. One thing I'm gonna say about him though, like how like you look at certain pass rushers, like 3-4 seconds after, like they're not really gonna run after that. Like with him, he's like, no, I'm chasing you down, mother.
Well,
I'm chasing you down. I'm going to get you.
it's funny because not on the side that he nailed Taylor, he was on the other side a play or two later.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, he didn't get to the guy, and the quarterback ran out of bounds.
Clemens
And
is a freak.
and he threw his arms. He was like, you could tell he was talking to himself, like, "F, I didn't get that." You know, like he was pissed, bro.
Those
Like,
pressures are crazy good though. He is an animal.
yep. So
Clemens was a steal for sure.
yeah. So I mean, you know, we touched. I mean, Rob Carpenter did. Justin, he touched on a lot of stuff. He was on for almost 2 hours, which was incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
I was watching a movie, but yeah, I missed it.
yeah, this is kind of like, I know the game was yesterday, but it's kind of like the dog days now for the next, you know, till next Thursday, and then
I know we're itching.
We're
all
full
itching.
steam. So you know, if you don't have anything else, go ahead, Steve.
Well, no, like I said, I joined late, unfortunately, and I just want to get to know, like, what's your take on the whole Mims thing? Because obviously, like, I've been on like his bandwagon for the last couple of years, and I was like ready to like jump off it like before training camp, but then yesterday like pulled me back in, and I just want to know what you think.
All right, so this is how I feel about it, right? You know, I want to give him a chance. I wanted the, you know, coaching staff to give him a chance. But at the end of the day, when you have Corey, Elijah, and Garrett, how much of a chance is he going to get to work with the ones? And then you also paid Berrios $6 million. You know, so you're also going to use Berrios on offense. So I would love for him to stay with the team, but it's like, if he stays with the team, is he going to get frustrated more and more? Or is he going to be patient and be like, you know what? If they put me in a game and it's for 10 plays, I have to make sure that I understand my assignment for each one of those plays. I have to understand that if the ball comes to me, I have to make that catch. It could be that one time the ball gets thrown to me and it's a 40-yard pass. We look at the Carolina game, right? He caught those 2 deep passes. Those may be the only 2 opportunities that he may get each game. He has to make sure that, okay, if they call my number, I have to come through, because the more that he comes through, the more they're going to be like, oh, you know what? All right. You know, instead of him getting 10 plays, now he might get 15. You know, let's go to him a couple times. You know, you might send him and Elijah deep on a play, and Elijah's covered, and boom, Mims. Or you might send him and Garrett Wilson on a deep play on the deep post, and Garrett Wilson is covered, and you go to him. He just has to make, you know, the opportunities that he gets count, because at the end of the day, even though he was drafted by us 3 years ago, and I want him to be, you know, to stay here and succeed, it doesn't look realistic right now. That's just right now. Something may happen week 2, week 3 to where he gets an opportunity to play. And then I don't want that to be the case.
And then the other thing I just want to touch on was, just like you said, our tight end room, man. We went from having
deep,
no tight ends at all, to now like we didn't even get to see like CJ Uzama that much, because we're so impressed with Conklin. And
Steven, they were in 12 personnel a little bit yesterday. You see that? They were on the field together yesterday for a little bit.
And Justin, real quick, they Flacco had Uzama streaking down the sideline too.
Yeah,
I know, but Conklin, Uzama's going to be the guy that goes in motion a lot too. You know, to he was going in motion, but they were both in a lot. It was
they're so good together. This team with these tight ends, man. Like Steven said, this is the deepest tight end team I've ever seen since I've been alive as a Jets fan.
And if that ball is thrown to the inside a little bit more, because it was literally thrown like out of bounds,
it's a touchdown, bro.
It's a touchdown, or at least, you know, a 35, 40-yard play.
Yeah, he was really off yesterday. He missed not just the pick six, but he was just really off.
So since we're on that topic, you know what really pissed me off? I heard something earlier that said that, you know, like, Joe's not going to make that type of play in the regular season. You don't make that type of play in preseason.
What? Make what type of play?
The pick, yes.
There's no way.
He just yanked it.
Number one.
Why can't he just throw it away?
He thought he could throw it over the top of Carter.
Forget that part. Forget throwing the ball away. Okay? When you're rolling out like that, in your head, it has to click and said, I have to throw the ball high. He literally had Carter and someone else who was about 6 yards away from Carter. He has to lob the ball up. He literally threw a straight pass.
That's not his
that
game,
should
though,
not happen. But this the thing. Even if it's not your game, when you have two guys that are open like that and they were wide open, that should not be a pick. You have to be able to make a better decision than that. Because if that came from Zach, you know what? He'll be hearing it from the fan base. So Flacco needs to get the same type of thing.
Well,
the same type of reaction that we give Zach when he makes a bad play. Joe has to get the same thing.
Tanad, that's why I tweeted that at the game. I said, imagine if Zach Wilson threw that. They would want
we'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, bro, it's bad, man.
We're already, to me at least in my friend group, it was that's how it was with.
I already know people that want Flacco to play regardless if Zach's healthy.
Because to Pete, to your point, all we heard about was Zach in camp, and then my couple of Eagle friends were on that first interception. He's like, "Oh, I guess he hasn't changed, staring down his target." It's like any mistakes these quarterbacks make, and with both of them, Joe Flacco, I will say, the offense looked a little smoother opening yesterday because obviously he's a veteran. It's going to move a little quicker with him, but then again, you still get those and Tanad, you said it great. You just can't make that play preseason, season, practice time. It's just you can't. You gotta be better than that.
And they didn't make any effort at all to try to tackle. Not to say I want him to go try to tackle somebody, but if Zach's throwing an interception there, he's at least going to try to make a play to stop a pick six. But
Patty, jump in.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to speak on Steven's question about Mims. This is how I look at it. So the way Rob explained it was actually really, really good because it was just Mims, though he may be frustrated, has not let that affect his play on the field or in practice. He's let his management take care of all the business side of things, and he let it be known he wants to play, and that's what you want from your players. You want guys that want to be on the field. You don't want guys that.
Exactly. And we saw a little bit of emotion out of him once he caught that touchdown pass, which is what I want to see.
I've never seen that from him.
Exactly.
Well, he was pointing at his you know what time it is,
Yo, Petey, you caught that? I'm telling you.
Of course I did.
That was Taylor. I haven't seen that.
Well, guys, listen, I'm not going to just say this where I sit. Listen, I sit in the upper level, but I sit, in right in the end zone. I see everything
the same end zone
develop.
That caught it?
Yes. I didn't think it was a catch from where I was sitting at first in the end zone, but it was. But I think his knee did get down, but it looked like
his knees and his leg.
But it just looked like his whole body was out of bounds at one point.
Yeah, for sure.
And then he he used his weight to. He never went out of bounds. It was it was a very good. It was probably his best catch that he's made as a Jet, honestly.
His only touchdown too. I know it's
well, actually, no. The game against San Diego. No, the San Diego one was better. When Flacco threw it up.
Regular season game, I remember that.
Yeah. He was. He still hasn't had a regular season touchdown yet, though.
I know. I was just going to say that.
He dropped a couple.
Yeah. No, but with him, his physical skill set is hard to replace.
Crazy. Yeah, he's got crazy skill set, man. He just has to put it all together.
Absolutely. And
Teddy, are you coming to the hangar?
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
All right, good. I look forward to meeting you.
Listen, all I know is that Sunday, guys.
This will be fun, bro.
We will be there. So tweet me. Listen, we'll be what parking lot are we gonna be in? I think we're gonna be in parking lot ERD from what I heard.
No, I don't even know.
Over. I'll be in
possibly
J for a little bit and I'll have to walk over.
Yeah, I'm gonna come over there, but just let us know when you guys get there because a lot of you guys I haven't even met yet.
Tanad, are you stopping at Gotham City for a little bit or no?
I want to.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there most of the time tailgating, but then I'm gonna go over and hang out with you guys before we go to the hangar.
Yeah, well, so I'll be at E1 because I got a cook.
E1.
So yeah, I'll be right at the pole. So, but I'm going in.
That's next to J.
It's right by the Horizon Gate. I could literally.
I know where that is.
I could literally throw that football that has the tail on it. That you could throw 90 yards. I could.
With the string on it.
Yeah. Well, somebody had it yesterday, and I made it throw, and I didn't even have to it just went, bro. Those things are incredible.
I'll
But
be in J3 for most of the time, but I'll head over there if that's what you're going to be in E. I'll head over there.
yeah,
before
but
you.
I'm you know
Sweet.
I'm gonna be in the hangar for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go sit
Go to your own
traditionally
seats.
with my
Yeah,
dad. Yeah, I don't
I don't blame you.
I like being with my dad's gonna be 72 this year, and I
Yeah, I
just
don't blame
want to enjoy every
for
chance
sure.
I get when I'm at the Jet games.
One of the most
So
exciting seasons too in a long time.
So is your
yeah,
dad coming to the
no, Rusty, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off, but I
Nah,
already know.
we're gonna carry him to the hangar. We're gonna
Well,
bring him over there.
maybe I'll have him. Maybe I'll have him come and
Greet
to the
some of
tail
us. Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
tailgate. But my dad just now waves his hands now like they stink, or he doesn't really he's my dad went to the Super Bowl in 69, 70.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember you telling us that.
So
Is he passionate at the games
he just
or no?
my dad, he's a sports guy. Like he'll watch, even though he's a Ranger fan, he hates the Islanders, but he'll watch them. Like he watches the Giants, but I could tell he doesn't like them. But he's very passionate. It's just he's seen everything, man. And
He's an
he's
old
just taught.
disgruntled Jets fan, which is
His
fine.
excitement may not be there as much as others.
Yeah, now I could tell you this, guys, that home opener, Rex Ryan's home opener. I mean,
Oh,
my
that
dad.
was
Bro, my dad was right next to me, and I had to put both of my hands over my mouth.
dude. That
to
was one of the
speak to.
loudest games.
Bro, I mean, I'm gonna get into it again with Fireman Ed next week, but that
That game was loud, bro.
I gotta be real
That
with
game
you.
and the
yeah.
New England game was crazy.
My
I
dad
got
just actually
I
called me.
yeah, I gotta be real with you. Last year's home opener, prior to everything
Loud
going
as fuck.
horribly
It was
wrong,
loud as fuck.
yeah, it was
And
amazing to
Creed
be out
was
there.
rocking. It was that was the loudest
Well,
I've heard in a long time.
there's 3 games for me, and Kenny, if you want to come up, because Kenny can probably vouch for this. It was the Rex Ryan game. From
New England.
Yes, that game.
The Decker catch.
No. Well, in MetLife, I'm gonna say
I'm talking about in MetLife.
the loudest I ever heard MetLife was probably 2 occasions. One, well, actually 3. One when Eli Manning got smashed by Calvin Pace, and
That was
in the
preseason, though, wasn't it?
it was like a playoff game. It was nuts there.
What about the Cowboys game? Were you at the
Yes,
Cowboys game when Revis got the interception?
No, it wasn't even that. When Joe McKnight blocked the punt and Isaiah Trufant recovered it.
Oh yeah,
that was
that was before. Yeah, it was before the pick. Yeah,
and then the other one was I'm gonna have to say which one was it? Give me 1 second here. I'm just thinking.
Remember the game? Remember the comeback where they beat Houston?
I was just
and
gonna say this, but
half the stadium left,
was still
and Santonio
loud.
Holmes caught the game winner in the corner.
Yeah, and it
That
was that
nuts.
game. But for me, the 3 loudest games in my lifetime were the Jacksonville playoff game.
God, that was
in
forever
1998. The Green Bay game where the Jets had no shot of making the playoffs almost, and I think Miami beat or New England beat Miami. One of those. I think it was Miami beat New England.
And the whole stadium, they put it up in Shea, and I think the whole stadium went nuts.
Bro, you couldn't even hear. Like even the players were looking like, what's going on? People had their radios back then, and it was nuts, man. Like the place, and the Jets killed Brett Favre that day. I believe it was 42-17. So those 3.
It was a blowout.
And then
And then they went on and won 41-0 in the divisional, right? No, the wild card.
That was against the Bengals, wasn't it?
No, that was against Indianapolis.
Chargers?
They beat the shit out of
okay. I
Manning.
can't remember. I can't remember who that was.
And guys, real quick, you talk about passionate. My dad hated when Peyton Manning changed every play. So my dad actually pulled out. I remember it. I'll never forget what he did. He put both of his hands on his cheeks and just kept going when he was changing the play. Like how people scream like when they change.
That's what I want
play?
Zach to do.
Yeah, so
I want Zach to do that.
So that was and it was loud too, man. But guys, this is I'm psyched, man. We're
just shooting the shit,
13
bro.
days away from opening day. It's nuts.
That's insane.
Next Thursday.
I'm
Next
losing
Thursday
my
is the
voice
Bills
this
Rams
game.
game.
Yep.
Next Thursday, Rams Bills. That's gonna be good.
And I'm sure tonight I saw you remove that. That's the same Dolphin guy that said something about Quincy Carter.
That day?
Well, that you removed.
Wait, Quincy Carter, old Jet quarterback. Quincy
We
Carter.
had him.
He was on the
with
lounge
us
one
a
We
few
time.
had
weeks
him
ago.
on. Me and
I think the recording is still up too, because I think it's been less than a month, so the recording should still be up. Because I think all the recordings are up for 30
Justin,
days.
I had
So
him on. We
That's
created
cool.
a new.
I haven't been able to follow Spaces and stuff. I'm being honest. Just with work, it's been too much. But that's pretty cool. I haven't. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. I saw he was on Twitter. I didn't know he was.
oh yeah,
on your-
and it was listen.
Bro.
People loved when he was on too, man. Like that entire episode.
Isn't he like a football coach or something?
Yeah.
he coaches. He coaches the kids in San Antonio, I think, or somewhere in Texas.
Yeah, Justin. It was just cool because it was like a forum that. I mean, I just let him speak, man, and he was spitting his guts out. Like
I like the players that are into like the fan base and shit. It's pretty dope.
And you know what I told them? Like I had never seen a player who played for a team just for 1 year just get that much
Didn't
love.
he come from Dallas?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
he
came
cut.
over. He got cut.
From Dallas, yeah, I remember
You
that.
got to
I'll
listen
never
to
forget
the
it.
recording.
It was basically Petey. It was basically like a trade. Like we cut Vinny and they cut Quincy.
that's right.
Quincy, yep.
That's right.
And they took Vinny because they had Parcells and he wanted Vinny, and we just ended up with Carter. And
Carter
it's
won
funny.
Carter won us a couple games. I remember.
I'll never forget that.
I think he was 2-1.
We would have beat the Ravens
Yeah.
if freaking Paul Hackett didn't have Lamont Jordan throw to Ed
Lamont
Reed in the
Jordan,
end
that's the
zone.
name I haven't heard.
Hey, speaking of that, you guys, Kenny, you remember when Parcells didn't trust Neil O'Donnell and he had Leon Johnson throw that pass in 1997
against
the Lions,
against the
right?
Lions. Dog,
Yeah, and
that
they
could've
would have
put us
made
in
the playoffs.
Parcells was crazy.
And then O'Donnell was gone that year, the next year.
Hey, real quick, Pete, about that Lions game. Do you remember when the stadium was so loud and like the referees were giving them penalties for being too loud? I've never seen that.
What? On the fans? I don't remember that.
Didn't that happen with John Elway? It was like the Broncos.
It was the Detroit game, right? It was week 17, the last week of the season. And that's the game Barry Sanders got the record, but
for being too loud.
yeah, their stadium. I remember, man. I was like 12 years old watching that game. I never forgot that Detroit stadium was so loud, where the referees warned the stadium. The Jets were on the center trying to hike the ball, and they were making so much noise. So the referees warned the stadium 2 or 3 times,
Never heard
and
that.
then threw a flag like 15 yards. Does anybody remember that?
No, I have to look that up.
I remember that happening with
I'll look
another
it up,
game.
though. That's crazy.
I think there was the
It's on
Broncos
YouTube.
game that it happened to. I didn't remember that it happened.
Defense.
Just go to.
Defense. I'm just happy you didn't chant Rob Carpenter's name today like you
I
did.
wanted
for
to
Matt
do it
O'Leary.
so bad.
What do you mean chant his name?
No, I'm busting defense's chops, but the last week or 2 weeks ago, the last space because
it definitely wasn't last week because he was on vacation and enjoying vacation.
So no, defense said, Matt, you're so good, and he's like, crowd, when I say Matt, you say O'Leary, and I'm like, nah, defense. No.
It was such a dud. Nobody said. I said when I say Matt, I said Matt, and nobody said Leary. I said, man, that's only for Fireman Ed them chants, man.
But yeah, Kenny, if you can come off mute, what would you say the '98 playoff game or the Rex Ryan home opener was the loudest for you?
Gotta be Shea.
I would think the loudest, was that home opener against the Patriots, and also the game against the Packers.
Yes,
we won the division.
That. So you don't
Definitely.
you think
Kenny,
that
you
was
prefer
louder?
Shea way more than MetLife, right?
Oh, I grew up at Shea Stadium, so yeah, it was crazy there. It was crazy. And
Well, that was
I had a
pretty
lot of
much
good
the
memories.
Jets stadium.
A lot of good memories there, and I've mentioned this in the past. YouTube it. Last game the Jets ever played at Shea Stadium.
I've seen
YouTube
it. You're on there.
You've seen it. Yep, I'm in there.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've seen it.
Kenny, I need you to use your connections to get us out of MetLife in 2025, man.
No,
Kenny, do you think there's any shot we get our own stadium or
no?
We got to get James Dolan out of
guys,
here first.
Guys, let me comment on this. First of all, it'll be a public nightmare If they do that and
Why?
build an, because hear me out, if they do that and then they have the balls to charge another PSL, bro, this fan base will melt. There's no
I
way.
don't know, Petey.
There's no way.
I know there's a
Nobody's
huge Jersey fan base, but I don't know, man. I'm just so New York it's New York. Like
I
we should be in New York.
agree, but I just can't see them charging another vig on the fans again after they did it once. There's no way, bro. They can't fill the stadium now.
I wish they got that.
Wait, hold on, PD. How about this? How about they just make the city of New York just pay for it, just like all these other towns be doing? Just
We
pay
have to
60,
pay. We have to
70%
pay for the
of it.
fucking bills, bro.
Like
if you live in New York
literally.
State, we're paying for the Bills Stadium.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
Who? We are. We have to pay for it.
No.
No, he's talking about as far as the stadium. Us getting the stadium in New York.
Oh, the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Woody
Listen.
wanted to, and then fucking Dolan ruined it.
All I know is it just needs to happen. It may not be within the next 5-10 years. It just needs to happen.
It needs to happen.
But
it
hear
has
me
to
out.
happen.
Okay, so then, guys, it's not. I'm not trying to be a jerk here. It's
No, I
not
understand,
going to
I understand.
happen because what are they going to do? They're going to play in New York and then practice in Florham Park. That's
Yeah.
going to suck.
Yeah.
No way.
Why not?
Listen, they could build a new practice facility.
No way.
No, they
bro.
spent mad
That's-
money on that.
They
Yeah,
spent too much
Not
money on
happening.
that.
I just
playing
want to
in
have
New
my
York.
own stadium. That's the thing. I just want to have my
I
own
I
feel you.
agree.
stadium.
We should have our own stadium. It's bullshit.
This is the man.
There's
Fuck
But
fans,
yeah,
though,
hey,
man.
if you look at the Jumbotron, right? I posted the video and it's like a couple minutes and I just never understood that rule. I thought it was all about home field advantage. I never knew that the crowd wasn't allowed to make too much noise. Like, I don't know what the heck that was about.
I don't know what these referees were thinking that day, really.
That's crazy. Real quick, any Knicks fans in here?
Yes.
Yeah.
RJ Barrett just signed a 4-year extension, 120 million.
Who?
Oh, good
RJ
for
Barrett,
him.
120 million 4-year extension.
Ooh,
Dope.
wow.
I'm happy. I just saw that, so I'm a Knicks fan.
So
So I
that
was like,
means
oh, baby.
here comes Donovan Mitchell next.
Hopefully, that's what I'm praying, bro. I'm waiting every day for that shit.
And
First
do
of
you
all-
guys, do you
first
guys
of all-
want Melo back? 'Cause
I do.
don't.
I do. I'd want him to
Nah.
retire as a Knick. I do personally. But I
Actually,
understand why.
Melo has the option. He's probably gonna get his number retired by two teams, the Nuggets and the Knicks. He definitely
You think the
should
Knicks
get it
retire
retired.
him? You think so?
I
The
don't
Knicks
think
should.
I don't think the Nuggets will since they gave it to Jokic. Jokic is wearing
Oh yeah,
15 now.
15. Yeah.
But you know
Why
what?
do you think the Knicks
Listen.
are going to retire Carmelo's number?
Nah.
I don't think so.
For 7 years?
I don't think.
He did a lot in New York.
He did do
bro.
a lot, but
He did a lot in New York, and it's crazy because same thing with the Nuggets. There's no reason why Melo's number should not be retired by the Nuggets.
That's just like a debate where I think, and people may disagree with me. It's a different
George
topic, but
Karl and Carmelo got into so many battles.
Oh yeah, that's true. But in baseball, I think the Mets should retire Jose Reyes's number.
They should. Oh yeah, absolutely. They need to do that.
Jose
They definitely
Reyes
need to do that.
Was more electric than David Wright in my eyes, but just he has that thing that hampers over him.
Listen, man. I think certain organization. Well, I'm not gonna speak for certain organization. I'm gonna speak because I'm a Mets fan. I think like when you look at a player like Jose, everything that he did, even though he went to the Marlins, but for everything that this young man did from the time that he came up from the minors, he was electric.
Bro,
the fans loved him. He performed. You can't tell me, oh, I'm not gonna retire his number because of this and that. No, the man did so much more.
They built Citi Field, remember that part in right center for Reyes to make him have triples. Like they built Citi Field for him.
What about Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry? Are their jerseys retired?
No, but they were actually at Old Time. The Mets did an Old Timers Day Saturday. I actually watched it from the airport. It was incredible.
Did they bring everybody that had a Met jersey for at least one game? Because it felt like
no, but I think like to me, Josh Tolley shouldn't have been in Old Timers Day. Like I mean, but he caught Johan Santana's no hitter.
No hitter, yeah.
But
I got another quick update as a Knicks fan. Leon Rose told the Jazz that there was a Monday deadline for the Donovan Mitchell contract. It was either we're going to make a trade or we're extending Barrett, and they didn't come to agreement, so they extended Barrett.
Man, listen, that can still go down.
I think the Mitchell. You think so? I don't know, man.
Listen, it can still go down, man.
They're not
Because remember,
Barrett, though.
R.J. Barrett was already a Knicks
He was already a
right?
part of the cap. He was already part of the cap, right?
Exactly. So
Yeah,
they could
okay,
still go
okay.
over the cap, for him. But
Well-
I think the Knicks wanted to get Mitchell first and then extend Barrett.
Makes sense, but all right.
Yeah,
We'll see, though. It's still plenty of time. It's still plenty of time for that to happen.
I'll always love the Knicks, man. I remember as a kid in the 90s, but James Dolan has really stolen a lot of my love for the Knicks. Like, he's just ruined it, man. Like, he banned Charles Oakley. Like, who the fuck is he to ban Charles Oakley?
He kicked fans out, too.
Listen to this. I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm a Lakers fan. But I've been to Knicks games, right? Because I just love basketball and I love going to the Garden. Dolan is the type of owner that you don't ever want to have as a fan because he does not care about winning. Okay? You see what happened with the Rangers, right?
He doesn't care.
The Rangers are now successful because whoever's running the Rangers, they did not allow him to make decisions. The man doesn't know basketball.
That's how it
Why
was
is
with
he
Woody Johnson.
making
That's
these
how it was with Woody
decisions?
Johnson. I agree.
And that's why, like, now, if you look at the Knicks, right? These guys that they have running the Knicks, Dolan, the decision that they're making, you can tell Dolan does not have any type of input on it because they run the show.
Yep.
And this is why, like, when you get a coach, when you get a GM, the GM has to be like, okay, I'm getting this job, but you as an owner cannot tell me what to do. That's why the Cowboys are where they are with Jerry Jones.
Wow. Guys, listen to this. R.J. Barrett will be the first New York Knicks first round that they kept on a multi-year deal since Charlie Ward, who was drafted in 1994.
And Barrett's the youngest. I think Barrett got the biggest contract in Knicks history for the youngest.
I think
that's wild.
The Knicks have drafted worse than the Jets have.
They've been
way worse, bro. We have way more busts, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, the only difference is people are more passionate about football than they are basketball.
Oh yeah, I'm 100%.
So
100%.
But
football
the
it
Knicks
hurts.
fan
It
base
hurts
is
so much more.
The Knicks fan base is so.
They're
like
one of the biggest
Jets.
fan bases in all sports.
Oh yeah, listen. When the Knicks are good, even when the Knicks are bad, the Garden is rocking. That's why I love going there. Like, it doesn't matter if it's an NBA game or college basketball game. Like, I remember I had not been to the Garden in years.
And that's what Dolan don't give a shit. He's gonna get paid.
It sells out every single game.
Exactly. Like, I had not been to the Garden in a long time, and then when I went back, I went to watch D Rose on Christmas Day against the Knicks. Bro, I was sitting in the suite.
This past season tonight?
No. I didn't. No, I didn't go watch the Knicks play this past season. I haven't been to the Garden in 2 years. And the 2 years ago when I went to watch UConn and Iowa. UConn and Iowa play, and then it was Oregon and Syracuse play. That was the last time I went to the Garden. For the tournament. Yeah. Anytime they have those college basketball tournaments, you would definitely catch me at the Garden. I used to go to the Big
East ones back in the day.
Yeah. So anytime they have those tournaments at the Garden, I'll be there. So if y'all go to games, let me know, man. Especially those, those college basketball tournaments.
I'll go to a Knicks game, bro. I love going.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely down to go to the Knicks game, especially since I think this year there'll be a decent team, especially if they get Mitchell. It's the energy at the Garden is always good. Even like you see how players love going to the Garden, man.
It's a different atmosphere.
It's a different atmosphere. It makes you want to perform. Oh yeah. I haven't been to a Rangers game yet, and I want to go to a Rangers game, and I'm a Rangers fan, so I want to be at the Garden screaming, "Whoa!"
Yeah, the best is when Dancing Larry dances, bro.
Yeah, that 94 when the Rangers won it, I remember watching on TV. I was like 9, 10 years old. I never heard a hockey stadium as loud as that, man. When the Rangers was about to win it, Madison Square Garden went crazy.
Bro, it was that, and when LJ hit that 4-point play,
yeah, go watch videos of that.
If the NBA allows the Knicks to win a championship and the NFL the Jets win a championship,
if the Jets win the Super Bowl, I can die.
It is going to be mayhem. That parade might go on for like multiple days. That's how crazy it's gonna get.
Bro, I'm taking 2 weeks off. I don't care.
If the Jets win the Super Bowl, bro,
hell yeah, 2 weeks. I can't.
I'll probably go. I was just gonna say I'll probably take 2 weeks off and go to the city for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to see the Knicks in 2 finals against the Rockets in '94, then the Spurs, I think, in '99. But I just can't imagine if the Jets make the Super Bowl. Just imagine like the week leading up to the game.
Even if they
like,
made it, yeah. Even if they were
just
in it.
make the Super Bowl. Like never got to experience that. Just like the week leading up to the game, how excited we would be. And
Like
watching,
the media, I can't even imagine that.
I start watching ESPN again, man.
Shit, good luck with that.
Fuck yes.
Then you're gonna have Stephen A just being fake happy as a fake Knicks
I
fan.
can't
But
stand that
anyway.
guy.
Oh my God, Stephen A.
Guys, if you have tonight, I'm gonna close this down in a minute.
I was just about to say it's 11:17, and I know you gotta go somewhere anyway.
Yeah, I gotta get up, but as always, I close the space with a little instrumental. So next week, guys, we'll be joined again by Rob. Thanks to Rob Carpenter, by the way. Again, a fireman
Antoine
and
Fireman Ed.
Antoine Staley from the Daily News, and the great Fireman Ed will be on next Monday night at 8:30. So tune in. Appreciate everybody. Justin coming on, Rusty, Kenny, Petty, Steven, defense. Shout
Deuce
out to
is in here.
I see you down. I see you
Hey
down there.
Pete, are you about to drop a Wu-Tang, a RZA instrumental? What you about to drop, man?
Actually, I'm
Go
not.
ahead.
This is gonna be no. I'm actually gonna switch it up a little, but it definitely is. It's not football music, but here we go.
Who, DMX?
All right. Shout out to all the Jet Lounge people in the building and not in the building. We got Benny and Justin Monday mornings, me and Tanad Monday nights. We got Sack, Ray, Anthony Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Happy Jet 1 o'clock Wednesday, Joe and Clark and Kenny Friday Night Lights, and the OG show again Sunday after every game this year, 7 p.m. Ray, Anthony, and my man Sack. So as we close out, one more time. Nah.
Appreciate y'all for coming through. Appreciate y'all
Yo,
for showing
Pete was
love.
just on beat. Yo, Pete was on beat with that.
Listen,
Petey
could give us a 16 one day. I'm gonna try to get it out of him.
Make a Jet song for us one time, Petey.
Trust me, I could do it, bro. You guys don't know.
I know you can.
So I'm gonna do it one day, but I gotta be in the right state. So
I got you. I
don't like being put on the spot, but if I'm with you and I, bro, you'll see. Maybe I'll kick one at the hangar. All right, as DMX would say, here we go again. All right, guys.
Everyone, we appreciate y'all. Thank you. Enjoy your Monday night. Tune in tomorrow. Jet Lounge,
I
OG
believe
show.
there may not be one, bro. I'll find out, but I know Happy. Oh no, Happy's got an ISO tomorrow.
Yeah,
at 1 o'clock.
Oh, it's tomorrow. I thought it was Wednesday.
No, he's got the
he
preview
changed
of
it.
the ISO. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So tune in tomorrow.
Yeah,
I believe
shout out to
1
Happy
o'clock.
Jet. Yep. And
1 o'clock.
Anybody got questions or anything? DM us. Appreciate your support. And
I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm glad you said something about DMing us. If you guys, if there's a former player that you guys would want to see on, just send us a message, because you never know. It might be someone that we would want to see, on here talking to us, and we just haven't gotten a chance to be able to get in contact with them. So, but appreciate y'all.
Yep.
Enjoy the Monday.
Everybody, deuce.
Good night, everyone.
Deuces. See you later.